just wanna change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't wanna hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. Change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. It's about you. I would never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. Your radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's
Let's go. Let's fucking go, baby.
Morning. Oh. Ooh. Oh, let's go, let's go.
Do you need anything like I need you?
It's over.
Do you need
Let's go.
anything
Like I need you. Ooh. Is it a scandal? Or is it a no scandal? Dude, we got the drama. I've got no place to be alone, my friend. He cut his wrist instead.
There's your answer.
You better save yourself or else success. I would rather be in hell than regret.
Do you need anything like I need you?
It's over, ho.
Do you need anything like I need you?
You know I do. Dude, how we doing, people? Oh. These are not my words, are mine most of the time. With reality and permit me to breathe before I do it again. Like I need you, it's over, ho. Do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over, ho. Let's go. Living the dream. Let's go. Do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Do you need anything like I need you? Oh shit. All right, we're gonna break it down. We're gonna break it down. Let's go. Dude, how we doing? Oh shit. Dude, is there a scandal or is there a scandal? I don't know, right? I mean, I saw that Wired article earlier today, this morning or something, right before I went to bed or something like that. Something like that this morning. I didn't realize that Taylor Lorenz had written it. And then I've been sort of getting pieces of information today, but it's like, dude, I mean, I think it's interesting that we're having this discussion because one of the things that I think we're sort of like, dude, it's weird. It's like trying to figure out what, like, the sort of the good and the bad of access, right? You know what I'm saying? Like first off, so we're gonna watch Taylor's response, and then we can watch David Pakman. We can watch I'll watch Brian Tyler Cohen's thing, and then also we're gonna look at something, a video, a tweet from Z, right? You know Z from she was like on the Unfuck America tour, because like here's the thing that's hard is when you look at politics, okay? This is kind of all media, okay? There is no such thing as completely independent media, okay? Like, and when I say that, you're like, well, what do you mean by that? Here's what I mean by that. What I mean by that is like everybody who makes content deals with some version of audience capture, okay? Everybody is taking money from people or creating content that is like creating, that is like getting by, right? Like you need enough money to live. Okay, whether you're getting it from advertisers who you're doing advertising or whether you're getting sponsored. But like not every creator, like creators that are getting funded don't walk around like telling you where you're getting funded. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like in everything, okay? Like you get funding from wherever you get funding. And creators don't necessarily talk about it. Now, it can get a little dicey if you're changing your messaging, right? You know what I'm saying? If you're changing your messaging. But I think this is complicated, okay? Because like the first complication for me is obviously, you know, there's been a lot of talk, not just from, take the DNC out of it for a moment. And let's just look at the left-wingers and say that the left-wingers, okay, the left-wingers are like wanting to have an ecosystem that is as good as the right, okay? There's no doubt that the right-wing media, they have an ecosystem where they get their message across, they get their party representation across, they're in lockstep, and they're very good at hammering away at the fucking points that the Republicans are trying to get behind. Now, if you look at right-wing media, they're all funded, okay? All of those fucking people from libs of TikTok to DC Drano to Cat Turd, they are all getting paid, okay? And they're all getting paid by like huge piles of money that are fucking like paying them to broadcast their shit. Now, the question is do they believe their shit or are they just doing it for the money? Okay. Now, the left wing has historically not had any of that. The left wing has had nobody backing them. So there has not been a way of like left wing creators like staying afloat. They've had to. Now, I want to be very clear here and say that I feel like this is a slippery slope because if you have a, like, say if you look at a left-wing creator like Adam Mockler, okay? I love Adam Mockler, but like he does a lot of sponsored shit because he's like Midas Touch. Midas Touch does a ton of sponsored shit, okay? You look at somebody like Kyle Kulinski and he doesn't do any sponsored shit, okay? Right? You know what I'm saying? Now, like, that doesn't necessarily preclude that people aren't getting funding from somewhere, right? And then even when you look at people like Mike from PA and you look at people like Hassan, these are guys that are way left. And obviously they're not getting any money. Like they don't support the Democratic Party. So the DNC is not like, they're not like vehicles of the DNC, but they have audience capture shit too, right? Like the far left will have certain things that they all stay in unison on because they're all sharing an audience. And like, you know, like a far left creator is never going to come out and support Joe Biden, right? Because he can't. Even if he supports him in some way, he or she, they would have to like lay low on that because of their audience capture. So a far lefty might like something about Joe Biden, but they can't talk about it. So maybe they just ignore it, right? You know what I'm saying? Now the thing that like gets complicated about this is the I guess the big deal is the 1630 group. And so I don't understand, like there's a whole umbrella Okay. There's a whole umbrella of, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, I know, but like Johnny Socket, for example, let me just give you an example of what I mean by audience capture. Okay, so for me, I am a lefty that I consider myself progressive, but I also like support the Democratic Party, and I don't hate the Democratic Party, right? I'm not like anti-Democratic Party, okay? Now, what happened though is if you go back to my history, the first video that I got monetized by was watching Hassan on Piers Morgan. And I made some commentary about Hassan and about the genocide. And this video blew up. It got like 20,000 views. It got me monetized. But what was crazy is immediately following that, all of the people watching my videos and in my comments were like hardcore, like Palestine was the only issue for them. And so I immediately made a video saying, hey, I realize there's a genocide going on, but you can't blame it all on Joe Biden. And I lost like a significant chunk of followers after I made that video. But I made that video specifically because I didn't want to court Hassan's audience. Because I realized if I courted Hassan's audience, I would have to like betray myself in a way, and I would have to like go against some of the things I do support in order to not lose my audience. And the far left audience is like really particular. If you court a solely far left audience, you walk a thread where you cannot stray at all from the far left party line, or they will immediately fucking tear you to shreds. You know what I'm saying? So there is like everybody who makes content is participating for the cultivation of their audience, okay? And depending on who your audience is, you have to tailor a message for your audience, especially on YouTube, right? Because YouTube, right? The thing about YouTube is your current audience has to watch your shit for them to show you to new audiences. You know what I'm saying? So YouTube kind of like forces you to get in a pigeonhole and work from the pigeonhole. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess it's really hard because now the thing about Chorus is I applied for Chorus, okay? And Chorus was something that was being formulated around January, you know what I'm saying? And I know Brian co-founded it, and I applied for it, right? Because it's like a creator incubator, of course, and having access to all those people, like just the little bit of help I got from a Discord call with Brian Tyler Cohen, like changed my channel. So I wanted to be a part of Chorus, and I got rejected. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get in it. But what's interesting about it is when I saw Chorus, like I knew it was funded by somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like it obviously wasn't funded by Brian Tyler Cohen. Okay. He was not paying for this thing himself. Of course not. Whether it's funded by investors or in this case, political messaging, it's going to be funded by some type of political messaging funding from the left wing. Okay. I mean, that only makes sense, right? You know what I'm saying? Like he started this incubator to compete with the right wing messaging. So then it was going to be funded by somebody. You know what I'm saying? It was going to be funded by somebody, right? Now, I guess we'll have to look at like Taylor Lorenz's thing. I guess like what she's upset about because she's saying that the funding came from a super PAC that like, I don't know if she wants to know who's funding that. I mean, it's hard, right? Because there's like, I don't know how to put this. I mean, I guess the direct way of putting it is everybody's funded by somebody. Okay. And like, for example, okay, you ready? For example, you're not going to see a lot of mainstream Democratic people go on Hassan's podcast, right? on Hassan's podcast, you're going to see like far lefties and rebellious people. You saw like Bernie Sanders went on Hassan's thing briefly. AOC's gone on Hassan's a couple of times. But like, because Hassan is super critical of the Democratic Party, a lot of the Democratic Party people are not going to go on his podcast. Okay. I mean, this is the same reason why people go on Fox or people go on MSNBC or CNN and the reporters kind of challenge them, but not too much, because it's access, right? Right? Everything's sort of about access. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like it is, I don't know, dude. I think it's just more complicated. Now, I do want to watch Taylor Lorenz's thing though, because she's making some pretty big claims of like that the creators were told if they badmouth the party, they'll be bounced and all this. However, and this is crazy because I know both of them. I know Brian Tyler Cohen and I know Taylor Lorenz, right? But like Taylor Lorenz though is also like, she left the Washington Post. And so she's trying to make it as a YouTuber now. And she's trying to like establish herself as like in her niche, if you will, right? So her motivation, I think, is to wanting to be like Ken Klippenstein. Like, I think she's trying to kind of do the Ken Klippenstein thing of like the arbiter of truth, where they're like super critical of the Democratic Party and super critical of the Republican Party. So she's got motivation as well. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has motivation. Like, everybody, you know, I mean, there's no doubt that for her, like, Taylor Lorenz is pretty far left, okay? And she's pretty upset with, like, the Democratic Party and their position on healthcare and shit like that. And she's obviously very staunchly, like, pro-LGBTQ. So she has some bones with the Democratic Party, as do a lot of people, right? The Bernie camp. I mean, we had a big fight here last night. There was a Bernie supporter who was like telling me to fuck off and calling me MAGA and shit because they were so mad at me because I said Bernie actually lost the primary in 2016, right? So what's wild about this is there's jockeying for political power right now in the left wing of the Democratic Party, okay? And so what's interesting is people that are in the Bernie camp, right, or in that progressive far left camp that want to depose Hakeem and Schumer and all that, they want to gut the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? Dude, Stay Gold, will you stop screaming? Like, first off, like, dude, you just keep screaming about this shit and, like, take 5 minutes to stop being in all caps, okay? Like mostly just, I don't know who you are, but shut the fuck up, all right? You've been typing in all caps all night about screaming about fucking chorus and shit. And, like, I do know what chorus is. I fucking applied for it. So quit fucking yelling at me in all caps. All right? Shut the fuck up. Okay? You know what I'm saying? I bring this up a lot. Do I not like Bernie supporters? So my thing about Bernie is I like Bernie Sanders and I like Bernie's policy, but I find some segments of the Bernie Sanders world, some segments of his fan base to be extraordinarily divisive and counterproductive and destructive, right? Because here's the thing that's really hard about this, guys, is we only have two parties, okay? So whether you're a centrist or a far leftist, you kind of have to make some kind of decision of where you're going to have your allegiance be, because if you destruct the Democratic Party, we're going to end up with right-wing fascism and Bibles shoved up our ass. So we don't have this mythical world where we can be like, fuck all the Democrats, and then the lefties are just taking over the country. We haven't seen that yet. Now, You know what I'm saying? And so I have a problem with people that act like there's an easy switch to flip and you could just fucking come out with Medicare for all and all of a sudden you're going to start winning every election. Because I don't see many candidates running on Medicare for all and winning goddamn elections. Now, that doesn't mean we don't need it. We absolutely need it. We absolutely need it. But the thing is a lot of the people that talk about, well, if they'd only say this, they'd win. None of the people that say that are actually out there running and winning. And so my thing with some of the leftists is you got to go out there and win some goddamn elections. You know what I'm saying? We have to win some fucking elections on the far left because the Democratic Party is never going to like become far left. Okay. They're funded by people that aren't far left. Okay. They're funded by people that want to protect social justice, but they like the way capitalism is working. You know what I'm saying? And they are not going to upset the apple cart very much to disturb the capitalism that's working for them. Right? Now, the U.S. is not leftist at all. Now, that's a conundrum for left-wingers because it's like, okay, well, what are the left-wingers going to do? Because they can either partner up with the Democrats and try to move the Democrats left, right? Or they can run themselves like AOC did and win and move them left from the inside, which I think is much more effective. But even then, if you look at AOC, a lot of the leftists hate AOC because she got in there and she has respected the levers of power. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of leftists are now talk shit about AOC because she's not like left enough for them. And so it's really hard though, because like, you know, ultimately, like we want progressive policies, but we also have to prevent the Republicans from winning. You know what I'm saying? The far left is angry and creates a lot of pain. Yeah, see, I will say this, guys. I get there are segments of the far left, particularly around like the Gaza scenario, where they literally like call me a baby killer and shit. Even though I am like progressive, I've literally had people on the far left tell me that like MAGA are less of a problem than I am. And that's really tough because I'm kind of like, why are they in the Democratic Party at all? Like they really should go and start their own party. The far left, like they really should, but they don't. They just sort of complain about the Democrats a lot. And I'm confused by that, right? Because like, obviously, you know, like, yeah, I don't know. It's complicated. Okay. It really is because the thing that's really interesting is Bernie Sanders, I think, is a classic example. You know what I'm saying? Dude, stay gold. Here's the deal, boss. I'm just going to get rid of you. All right. I'm sorry. Like your thing, whatever your deal is, you can go away. All right. I don't care to fucking hear you cry about censorship. You can fuck off. Okay. There you go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Sorry. I'm not going to argue with some random fucking chatter in caps all day. I'm just going to move you along. You know what I'm saying? So the thing that is complicated about it is like, they're like, nobody is ideologically pure. Okay. Like, for example, I talk about Bernie a lot because I like Bernie, but the problem that I've had with Bernie is Bernie is sometimes counterproductive because he's never built a coalition. Okay. Bernie went out and got really popular with young people, and he got really popular with fighting the oligarchy and this whole class warfare thing, but he doesn't have any allies in Congress to be able to like advance any of his shit. So the thing about it is Bernie is the guy who's always like, you know, has the moral superiority because he's Bernie and he's always arguing from the right point. But like, that's his whole identity, is like arguing from the correct moral place while being able to blame everyone but himself for the fact that none of that moral shit is going on. And that's how he pays his bills. Okay? That's his identity that he cops with, right? But the thing about it is, though, is he is alone and not building a coalition. And unfortunately, in order to advance, you know, if you want to advance your political identity and shit, you do need to have some type of coalition, right? And especially on the left wing, right? You need allies. You can't, like, a president can't get any legislation passed without Congress, you know? And so it's really, here's what's hard though. What is hard is like, for example, okay? Like, for example, even when you look at this thing of like, all right, and we'll look at the Taylor Lorenz stuff, and we're going to look at Brian's response, and we'll look at these responses, and I'm going to show you a couple other things I've seen creators say recently that, like, because obviously, guys, if you look at like Olivia Juliana and you look at like Harry Sisson, like, I know that those guys have been funded by fucking pro-DNC entities. It's obvious. I mean, with Harry, it was so obvious. There were times where Joe Biden would give a speech and Harry would be like, that was the best speech that Joe Biden ever gave. And it's like, bro, Joe Biden could barely like remember he could barely talk through the whole thing. It was not the best speech. You know what I'm saying? So like, obviously now there, at that point, you know that he's either being funded in some way from the party apparatus, or he's preserving access to people and getting in their good graces so he can then make content with these big people because of that support. Okay. But like, realistically, everybody's doing that in some way. Okay. Everybody's doing that. If you have a far left creator that is like, you know, close to the DSA, they're towing a line to keep the DSA like on their side. Or if you have a far left creator that, right, like if you have a far left creator that's trying to get Mahmoud Khalil on their program, they're going to have to fucking toe the line of how they present the Palestine situation, or Mahmoud Khalil's not coming on their fucking program. You know what I mean? Like, everybody is like participating to maintain access somewhere. Okay. Everybody is. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, it's just, that's factual, right? You know, now I think what it gets crazy though is this. Here's where it gets weird for me. Okay. Where it gets weird for me is if there's like personal loyalties, right? Like when you have somebody like Lindy Lee, who was pro-leftist, and then all of a sudden Biden loses, or Kamala loses, and now all of a sudden she's on a MAGA show talking shit about Biden. Like, she's obviously grifting, right? You look at somebody like Benny Johnson and you think, does he really believe this shit, or is he just grifting, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I guess the same with the Democratic Party is like, you wonder, like, are people, if they're being funded by the apparatus, do they really support the Democratic Party and they're being funded because they support the Democratic Party? Or are they like altering their message specifically to express the needs of the Democratic Party? Now, there is legitimate reality here. Okay. If you want to have Jamie Raskin and fucking, you know, Garcia and some of these bigger names, right? If you want to have AOC on your program, you have to be messaging in a certain way. She's not going to go on your program if you shit on her all the time, okay? Nobody will, right? That's a fact. If you have a program where you just shit on AOC all the time, you're a Democrat, but you like rag on AOC, she's not going to come on your program and fucking hang out with you, right? If you like AOC and you're supportive of what she does, she will come on your program. And if you hate her and you're the total enemy, she may go on your program to try and win over some of your viewers. But you see what I'm saying? Like there is coalition that is based on fucking, on people's desires too. You know what I'm saying? And so you also have to look at it is what they want to do, right? Like, for example, you know what I'm saying? You look at somebody like Adam Mockler, who's part of 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗧, and he does those corporate things and shit, and he's a lefty, but like Adam Mockler wants to be on CNN. He wants to be part of that big mainstream news network. And he's not going to get that if he is just super critical of everything the Democratic Party does. Nobody will. If you want to be on mainstream like CNN, you have to be aligned with one of the two major parties. That's it. Or you have to be like Zoran, who's outside of that, but you're winning a goddamn election. That's it. That's the only options you have. You either are in line with the Dems, you're in line with the GOP, or you are winning a goddamn election. You have three choices, okay? If you're not in line with the Dems, and you're not in line with the Republicans, and you're not winning an election, none of those mainstream news stations are going to have you on, okay? So if your goal is to be on a mainstream news station, you have to like one of the two parties. You have to like agree with the party. Now it's weird though, because people accuse me on Twitter of being a shill. Like they accuse me of being paid as a Democrat because I support the Democratic Party. But I support the Democratic Party because A, I'm thankful for a lot of things they've done. I have health insurance because of the Democratic Party, right? We have a bunch of civil rights stuff because of the Democratic Party, okay? You know what I'm saying? There have been a lot of wins from that party, even though they haven't done a lot of shit I've wanted them to, right? But I do like the party. And like, if Gavin Newsom wins the primary, I have no problem supporting him. I still like Gavin Newsom. I like the way he's challenging Trump, okay? Is he corporate? Sure. But like, I'm not against corporate entirely if you're still fighting for like, to make the world a better place. Because the reality is sometimes you need that corporate boost, okay? You do. Like sometimes you need the corporate money, or sometimes you need to get your hand on the levers of power. And those corporate people are fucking, you know what I'm saying, they have access to the levers of power. And that's where it is like, it gets complicated. You know what I'm saying? You're an anarchist commie and you agree. See, I feel like there's part of me that's like an anarchist, right? And there's part of me that is also though like shrewd enough to know that to accomplish shit, you need to get your hand on levers of power. And so I did a video about the Charlie Kirk interview that Newsom did. And so I didn't hate the interviews with Charlie Kirk. I didn't watch the full Steve Bannon one, but I did watch the Charlie Kirk one. And what I noticed about like Newsom is he was like appearing to agree with Charlie while not actually committing an agreement. But a lot of what he was doing was making nice with Charlie and disarming him and baiting him. So Charlie didn't attack him. And then Charlie had to go and he was not sucking up to him. I didn't see that at all. I didn't really see that at all, because if he was sucking up to him, Charlie wouldn't have gone and made a bunch of videos apologizing to his fan base for not being like fucking more severe. I mean, also though, Gavin Newsom is thinking about running for president. And if you're going to run for president, you have to, you have to toe sort of a different line. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, right? You see how I'm like anti-Trump, fuck MAGA. If I go to Wisconsin and run for fucking Congress in the red district of Watertown, Wisconsin, I'm not going to be walking around yelling fuck MAGA to the people I'm trying to get votes from. I'm going to have to sit down with those MAGA people and meet them somewhere in the middle and find common ground and try to convince them that I'm trustworthy and deserve their vote. That's a reality. I'm not going to walk in there and be like, fuck MAGA, and then those people are going to vote for me. You know what I'm saying? That's what politics is. You have to fucking, you need a lot of votes, man. You know what I'm saying? And it depends on your district, right? If you're running in a deep blue district for Congress, then you get to be fully blue because you're representing 700,000 people that all believe in your shit. But if you're running for Senate, you have to run differently. Okay, like for example, you ready? If AOC runs for Senate, guys, she's gonna behave differently during the fucking election. I guarantee you, okay? She's not gonna abandon her shit, but she is also going to water it down in order to win the whole goddamn state. You know what I'm saying? Like if AOC runs for Senate, you will see a change in the way she campaigns. It's unavoidable. Okay, once you run for Senate, you have to toe a different line because now it's the whole fucking state you have to win, right? I mean, those are realities. You know, yeah, I agree. Like, you don't want to pander to MAGA, but if I went to Wisconsin and ran for Congress in the district that my hometown is in, it's a red district, okay? I would have to have red voters, MAGA voters would have to vote for me or I could not win. You know what I'm saying? And one-eyed dollar, I mean, you say hard disagree, but like then prove it. Go win a Senate seat, bro. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like the people who say hard disagree are also coincidentally the people who've never like won an elected office. You know, the reality is running for a House district is different than running for a Senate district, is different than running for the presidency. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, sometimes you luck out, but I mean, look at Obama. Obama's a classic example, okay? Because the Democrats were fucking, right? The Democrats were fucked up after the Al Gore thing, okay? Obama is very similar to what we're heading to right now, right? Where Obama ran as this anti-establishment Democrat who's going to make a lot of change, okay? And then what ended up happening, though, is as soon as he got into government and started governing, everybody started hating him because he was too, like, middle of the road. But he had to be a little bit middle of the road if he wanted to get any shit done, right? Because, you know, even in the Democratic coalition, you need all the Democratic voters, and there's a lot of different kinds of voters in the Democratic Party, you know? So, like, you know, when we have 200 Bernie Sanderses in Congress, it'll be different, right? But you know what I'm saying? But I am thinking about, I will have to see what happens here because I like my life as a political commentator. But I am thinking about either moving to Wisconsin in 2028 and running for a House seat in an all red district where I'm likely going to lose, where I'm going to have to go door to door to a bunch of MAGA voters and find common ground with them and convince them to vote for me. That's option one. Or the other option here would be to maybe run for Ron Wyden's Senate seat in Oregon, okay, which would be complicated because Ron Wyden is sort of leading the whole financial investigation of Jeffrey Epstein, and so that would disrupt a big fucking a big apple cart. If I were to like oppose Ron Wyden, that could be a suicide mission. You know what I'm saying? It could be a suicide mission. Right? Run as an independent. But see, I don't know. I like the Democratic Party, dude. I don't have this thing where I don't hate the Democratic Party. You know, I don't hate it. I understand the point of it and the apparatus. And I understand that in order to get your hands on the levers of power, you have to you have to sort of play the politics a little bit. And what's crazy about it is like people, you know, I mean, you've heard me talk about like work, okay? Like my workplaces, about the politics of workplaces, okay? And like, for example, okay, you know, the job that I worked at in LA, it was Jerry's Deli. Okay. So Jerry's Deli, I go in there and I get this job, and they had really strict rules about how we had to look. Okay. Right. I had really strict rules about, like, you couldn't have a nose ring in, you couldn't have colored hair, guys couldn't wear nail polish. It was like really strict, sort of corporate, even though it was family owned. It was very corporate and like very corporate mentality down to a T. And they were real persnickety about this. Now, I went in there rock and roll, and I wanted to change that. I wanted to evolve their personal flair that was allowed for their wait staff. Now, eventually, after a couple of years, I did just that. However, the way I did it was by going in and analyzing the management structure and figuring out which managers had the power. Right? Was it the DM? Was it the general manager? There was one assistant manager that was close with the owner. She had a lot of power. And then what I did was I got the most powerful people in that structure to be my allies. And I didn't bullshit. I wasn't fake. I wasn't pretending I was something I was not. I just found things that we had in common and things about them that I liked. And I leaned into that relationship in a very genuine way. And I became friends and confidants. I figured out who their enemies were, and I helped protect them from them. And I fucking just did that work of being part of their network until they were on my side too. And then I started breaking the rules. And then when the owners came in, those powerful people had my back and helped me negotiate with the owners. Okay? Now, if I didn't have those powerful people in my coalition, I would not have changed the rules. But because when the owners came for me, there were some really powerful people in the management structure that were on my side, I had advocates, okay? And that allowed me to negotiate with the owners and to change the rules. And then the rules changed, and we still had to take our nose rings out, but guys could have nail polish as long as it wasn't chipped, and colored hair was okay, but you had to wear a hat. Okay. Now the thing about that is that is part of, like, politicking. Dude, Karmic, let's go. It's part of politicking. And you can't exist in politics without politicking. Okay. Somebody is politicking somewhere. Like even Bernie Sanders is politicking to maintain his outsider status. Okay. Bernie Sanders. And I mean, you saw him now, like, going on Andrew Schultz's podcast or whatever, saying the Democrats are as dangerous as MAGA. He's like playing that outsider card. Bernie was politicking on Andrew Schultz's show, trying to be cool with those disaffected manosphere guys. He was fucking politicking. And, like, he doesn't get a free pass. Bernie politics too. Everybody in politics is politicking. Okay? That's just what the fucking game is, right? You can't do politics without politicking. It's part of the show. Now, there are ways, though. There are ways to do it with integrity, okay? Like I said, when I was close with those people in the management structure, I was doing it genuinely. You know what I'm saying? I was doing it genuinely, okay? I was. Now, dude, now, here's the thing about, I saw people talking about Zoran Mamdani, okay? And I'm going to give you a news flash, guys. Okay, Zoran, right? Zoran, if he wins, okay, when he wins the mayorship, he is going to make coalitions with people that are outside just the far left base. He's going to have to. He's going to make nice with certain people in Kathy Hochul's fucking realm. He's going to have to if he wants to get his shit done. Okay, Zoran is going to behave differently when he wins than he will while he's running. And I'm telling you, those are just facts, okay? It's like factual. Once he wins, he's going to have to behave differently because, right? Because he's going to find common enemies, right? With Trump, like usually it'll be the common enemy of Trump that he'll likely use to make nice with Kathy Hochul. Okay? You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that he's going to do. Like, I'm sure that's how you normally do it in politics, is you common enemy, right? You build your coalition based on your common enemy. Okay? And but you got to be able to do it without fucking losing all your shit. You know what I'm saying? So the thing though that's hard, here's the thing that's hard about a lot of leftists think you can win in politics without doing any politicking. And that's bullshit. And the people who say that have never run for an election, or they have never like gone into an established power structure and changed the power structure. Okay. They have always stood on the outside talking about how you could change it. But anybody who's gone in, like, even if you did like I did with Jerry's Deli, if you go in and want to change a power structure, you got to build a coalition and you got to do some politicking, and you try to do it with integrity is what you do. You know what I'm saying? You try to do it with integrity. Now, what's hard is the far left. I feel like the far left need to figure out how they're going to get power, okay? Because the far left, it's like if they destroy the Democratic Party, they're not going to get any power. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see, I mean, I know they probably think they're going to destroy the Democratic Party and take it over, but that's what Trump did to the GOP, and it's a disaster. If you had a bunch of far lefties like fucking, you know, threaten and cajole and overpower the Democratic Party and take it over, you would just have some power-mongering leftists that would likely abuse their power, and it would be a fucking shit show. Like, realistically, I feel like the far left should form a third party and then build a coalition. They really should. They should leave the Democratic Party and become a coalition party or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think they should do. Right? You know, and you take power. We want to destroy power. But like, dude, if you destroy power, then the Republicans are just going to own you. You know, I mean, you do have the Republicans. You know what I'm saying? If the far left just gut the Democratic Party, all that's going to happen is we are going to end up in a Christian fucking fascist state. That's going to be the end result, okay? And then the leftists are going to have zero fucking power, right? You know what I'm saying? They're going to be fucking reciting Bible verses and going to conversion camps. But we don't want to do the Donald Trump. We don't want to fucking force a takeover. I believe you want coalitions, you know? I do. I believe coalitions are the answer, right? But, you know, it's fucking hard, man. It's hard, right? It is hard to build a coalition with the far left in America. I mean, they're, you know, I don't know, dude. I have a lot of far left principles, but I feel like a lot of the far left voices are actually sort of self-destructive. And I haven't been able to figure out how to reconcile that, because what I've noticed with some of the far left in America is they're going to, like, they don't have any power. They're not winning any elections, but they're trying to dismantle the apparatus that is the only defense we have against evangelical fascism. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, that's why I keep saying, if you hate the Democratic Party, you need to run for office. And if you're not running for office, then you kind of need to stop hating the Democratic Party, because you're going to fuck that shit up, right? If you really hate the Democratic Party and you're not running for office, then you are participating in clownery that is going to help us end up fucking reciting Bible verses and having sex with handmaids. You know what I'm saying? It's about telling people the ideas that are undeniably good for the working population. Yeah, but so the problem is that the way politics work is politicians say what's going to get them elected. Okay, you may not realize that, but you know why they say all politicians are liars? Because they kind of are. Because politicians say what will get them elected. That's it. And then they have to maintain allegiance to the principles that get them elected, or they end up like 𝗙ırsten 𝗏𝗏 and they fucking have to retire, right? Or like John Fetterman. What's he going to do when his Senate term is up? Because the people that voted for John Fetterman do not like the guy. Okay, so he's going to have to come around and become 𝗙𝗍𝗪𝗙𝗍, a reborn progressive, right? Now, the thing though, you ready, guys? Here's the thing though, is if you are a far left progressive and you go out there and win, like Zoran Mandani, okay? If you go out there and win the shit, like saying with no allegiance to the Democrats, you can change the game, but you can't do it by talking and complaining about the Democrats and saying they should do this. You have to win a goddamn election, okay? The way to get Democratic Party to support Medicare for all is for 50 people to win elections running on Medicare for all. If that starts winning, the Democratic Party will adopt that shit in 2 fucking seconds, bro. I shit you not, okay? That's the way it works. The Democratic Party goes with what wins. And now they're like susceptible to change because they lost a big one to Trump and they're reeling and shit. But you gotta win. Or if you don't win elections, like you have proven nothing, right? Because politicians say whatever wins that election. Okay, that's just the facts. That's the way they've been doing it since I was fucking 3 feet tall, man. And so that's what's really hard about this shit is, you know, we do as leftists, it's like if you're not winning on your platform, you know what I'm saying? If you're not winning on your platform, you know, what are you doing, right? If you're not winning on your platform, vote blue no matter who. I mean, dude, you can argue about that, but like, you know, there is because Hakeem and Chuck Schumer aren't fucking endorsing Mamdani, right? But, you know, the election, we're not at the election yet. And who knows? Maybe they will, right? But you know, there is definitely, they have a sore spot with Bernie for sure, right? Because they're like, after the Bernie experience, the Democrats were like not very fucking happy, right? With that contingent. They feel like that contingent is trying to hold their party hostage. So there's a fucking rift there between the socialists and the corporate Dems for sure. And the corporate Dems have the power, right? But again, you know, like it'd be interesting to see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Democrats don't trust progressives. Yeah, they don't. I mean, it's hard. The progressive thing is hard, okay? The progressive thing is hard. He is incredibly popular. Who's Mamdani? He's popular in New York, bro. Like Mamdani would not be popular in Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? Or Missouri. You know what I'm saying? But in New York City, he's popular. But dude, I don't think Mamdani could win a New York State Senate seat. Maybe after he's mayor, but like on his platform, I think it would be far more challenging. But yeah, the mayor of New York, especially after Eric Adams and the disillusionment and like all that shit and Cuomo being his opponent. I mean, dude, yeah, he's fucking, everybody's loving him. But if he ran for president, dude, he wouldn't have a fucking chance. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, but the mayor of New York, yeah, New York is fucking as left and as socialist left as can be. It's fucking Colombia, for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying? Why won't they endorse him? I mean, I don't know. I think they're worried. Okay, I'll tell you why. Actually, here's why. One-Eyed Dollar. Because you may not have noticed, or maybe you have noticed, but you may not have noticed that the Democratic Party in national elections and in Senate elections, they lose elections because the Republicans say they're socialists. Okay? They do. The Republicans calling Democrats socialists and communists cause fucking them to lose elections. It is a big drain on the Democrats. So for them to endorse a socialist is dangerous because that risks them losing their own fucking elections, or the Democrats losing Senate seats and losing a national election because now they're supporting the socialists, okay? Because socialism has a terrible fucking name, even though we all know it's better. You know what I'm saying? We all know it's better, but it's one of the lines of attack that they use that's very effective, right? It's very effective because Americans are convinced that socialism is bad. It's so dumb, bro, right? And I mean, there's also AIPAC. Yeah, AIPAC is in there too for Hakeem and fucking and Schumer. There's also AIPAC. Yeah, they did call Kamala a socialist and she lost, right? You notice Kamala lost, right? He called her a communist, socialist, fascist, Marxist, and she lost every fucking swing state, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because the voters, American voters, are fucking dumb, bro. Most American voters are dumb. They're afraid of socialism. They're more afraid of socialism than they are of fascism. The average American voter, a white guy in the Midwest, if you said you can have a fascist run by a Christian or a socialist government, they would pick the fascist Christian government. I shit you not. Everybody, all the white people in the Midwest would choose the fascist Christian government over socialism because they're fucking programmed, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Dude, one-eyed dollar, what are you doing? You're kind of being a clown, boss. Nobody's talking about reaching out to Bannon, boss. Dude, one-eyed dollar, you would never win an election, bro. You're a talker, okay? I see you talk with your purity leftist stance, but I guarantee you would never fucking win an election, bro. Right? I see what you're doing, though. You're running the mouth. You're trying to twist words and shit. Yada, yada, yada. I get it. Dude, fuck that. I don't have time for that shit. Dude, you know what I'm saying? You got to quit being a purist. You need a goddamn coalition, bro. Right? Yeah. Oh, now you're calling me a boomer. Oh, good. Good for you, dude. Yeah. Whatevs. Later. Smell ya. Bye-bye. Fuck off. Dude, he is very confrontational. He's gone now. Now we don't have to listen to his shit. Dude. So you want to, right? You're going to be a whiny bee the whole time and be like, oh, you're reaching out to Steve Bannon. Oh, you're reaching out to Bannon. Oh, because that guy doesn't want to acknowledge how the political system in America works. He's living in some fantasy land of fucking, right? He's living in some fantasy land from his favorite YouTube fucking channel that tells him like, oh, the leftists are really like, oh, they're like everybody's ready to vote for them. It's like, no, most of the American voters are fucking dumb, and you have to do a dance to get idiots to fucking vote for you, bro. I mean, think about this, guys. Okay, listen to me. Forget all the left and the right. Okay, forget all this shit, guys, for 1 minute and just listen to what I'm saying to you. We had more Americans vote for a rapist, insurrectionist, fucking 80-year-old man named Donald Trump, piece of shit, than a fucking capable, qualified black woman. That's America, bro. Donald Trump would not win a goddamn election anywhere else in the world except this fucking country. You know what I mean? That's how dumb our fucking citizens are. All right? You want to argue about like left-wing policy? Dude, they shot themselves in the fucking foot, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you kidding me? Half of America, 77 million Americans, would fucking burn down their own goddamn house rather than get actual health care paid for by the government because they're fucking morons, bro. Our fucking country is filled with morons. Dude, it is gross, bro. Yeah. Dems have used the lesser two evils to shift further and further right. Yeah, well, so Cap, the thing about it is I don't even know that the Dems have shifted further and further right. I think the truth of it, Cap, is a little different. I think the Democratic Party has always been right. You know what I mean? Like, you have the Republicans that are far right, and you have the Dems that are like center right with maybe just inside the left. And they've always been that way. They've never been left wing. The Democratic Party was never left wing. They were always pro-capitalist with a little bit of social justice and like, let's fucking fight for freedoms. But like, you know what I mean? They'll fight for civil rights, but they won't necessarily defend them, you know? And it's always been like that. You know what I mean? And then compared to Europe and shit, like Europe actually has left-wing parties, you know? But dude, I just don't know how I don't know how we fix this shit. Dude, should I let that person back? Was that mean to me? Do I leave them out of the chat? I sometimes mute people from the chat, but I don't know if that's being mean or not, right? But dude, they're just so confrontational the whole time. They were like, "Oh, you're courting Steve Bannon." It's like, dude, fuck that. You want to get him back? Should we get him back? Should we let him back? Yeah, he was cocky. Dude, I brought Upside Down back. Upside Down is back. I don't think Upside Down will come back, though. He might be mad at me. He called me an asshole and a MAGA and all that shit. Oh, you timed him out and I banned him? All right, so you timed, I'll just bring him back then. Fuck it. I get a little crazy with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I do. Dude, I like to fucking silence people. I'm a power abuser, bro. I'm perfect as a politician. Dude. Let's go. I brought him back. I did. I brought him back. I brought Upside Down back too last night. Although Upside Down though said a bunch of shit like telling me to fuck off and calling me MAGA and all that shit. He may not come back because of like, you know what I mean? But so the hard thing about this is, guys, is like, you know, it's like the Democratic Party, like, and I've said this before, right? If you want the Democratic Party to move left, you have to win elections with a left-wing platform. And then you have to succeed with your platform. And then when they see it works, they will move that way. But otherwise, they're going to move to what gets them money. Because you know what it is, guys? You ready for this? Here, I'm gonna cue you in, guys. This is factual. What I'm about to say is very factual. In American politics, it's not even necessarily about winning. It's about raising money, okay? It's about raising money. So the fact of the matter is they're going to do what raises them money, Democrats and Republicans alike, okay? And the same with independents. They're going to be what raises them money and keeps that shit going, okay? If you're a content creator, I'm a YouTube channel, I'm going to make what makes me money, okay? If I'm the subject that gets me 50,000 views versus the subject that gets me 3,000 views, I'm not going to make a lot of the 3,000 view videos. But the thing that gets me 50,000 views, I'm going to make 10 of those, okay? Because it fucking makes me money. And if I don't like it, I'm not going to do it. But then sometimes if you're making enough money, you convince yourself to like it, right? And I mean, that's a fact of all, like, people. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you got to make a living, you know? And so, like, you know, I don't know what to do about that. I don't know what to do about that. But anyway, we had a nice little theoretical discussion here. Let's fucking watch some of these videos. Let's get Taylor Lorenz and some of these other people's perspectives on this shit. Okay? Dude, you took 0 donations. What did you run for? Right? Legalize weed? Dude, legalizing weed should happen. Okay? Legalizing weed should happen. It's hard though, because legalizing weed, guys, it's complicated because that's a racism thing. Okay? Legalizing weed is sensible, makes sense, and it's great with young people, but for old voters, legalizing weed is a racism thing. Okay, the reason why Republicans don't want to legalize weed is because weed was a black moneymaker, and that's how they put black people in prison, right? So older white voters, especially in the Midwest, they don't want to legalize weed because that's like letting the black people have an industry, okay? You know what I'm saying? So it wins elections in some places, and it wins, the young people love it. But then it also creates this weird, like the racism comes out in that shit. Dude, it's so dumb. America is like, dude, this country sucks. Can we just say that America kind of sucks? It does. But, all right. Dude, that was an hour-long rant, guys. Holy shit. Dude, we ranted for an hour on that. See, here's what I want, guys. What I want is this, is my desire is to remain progressive, but I do want to support the Democratic Party because that's the only way we got to win elections now, right? At the moment, because we don't have another actual party option. But I would like to see coalitions. Like, we have to find a way for centrists and liberals and far lefties and fucking progressives and all those, the communists. We have to find a way to come together. We do, to defeat the Republicans, right? It's hard. It's fucking hard, man. It is. I feel like we're in the middle of the second civil rights movement, Let's go, Orwellian. Appreciate you. But right now, though, it's fucking hard. I feel like it's hard to coalesce some of those groups, okay? Some of those groups, it's hard to coalesce with. You know what I mean? Because they're like super feisty, man. You know what I'm saying? They're fucking super, like the far left in America are super feisty, but they don't have any, right? They don't have any political power because they're not really winning any elections. And that's what's hard, right? That's what's hard is a segment of the far left in America. They don't win any elections. They're not even running. Many of them never even run for an election, but they are the biggest critical voices against everybody who is running. But they don't have any political power. And then they blame the lack of political power on the Democratic Party or on the liberals. But the fact of the matter is if they would just shut the fuck up and quit blaming the Democrats and go win some elections, they would have political power. But you don't have political power because the Democratic Party gives it to you. You get it by winning. You either become part of the Democrat, it's like the network, or you win elections. Those who win elections gain power, period. That's really what it takes. It takes an election win. And whatever wins elections, like the parties will gravitate towards it, right? Like even if you look at Donald Trump, 10 years ago, that guy was like fighting for transgender women to be in his beauty pageants. And now he is so anti-trans. Why? Because the Republicans have anti-trans wins elections for them now. For whatever reason, when they say men and women sports, they win. So they're all going to just say that over and over and over again. And the day they say that and they don't win, they will fucking change their tactics. But that's what politicians do. They do what gets them to win or gets them money. And then when the money runs out and the winning runs out, they fucking change up and become something a little different. But anyway, so let's see. I'll say this. My initial thing is I don't know that the what we're about to look into with Chorus and the 1630, I don't think this is really that big of a scandal. Okay? I think it's the Democratic Party is trying to do what the Republican Party is, to build a Democratic-friendly, party-friendly apparatus where those creators are supported. Now, the question becomes, like, are the creators being genuine, right? And like that, though, is like, dude, that's a hard one, I think, for all of us, right? It is for all of us, that genuine one, right? Because that's the argument that everybody makes, right? Like 𝗙𝗪𝗀 says, Hassan doesn't believe the things he says. He just says them for his audience. And then we say Anna and Cenk are saying shit because of Polymarket. And then they're like, the lefties are saying shit because they're trying to destroy us. And you know what I mean? And like, you know, now Taylor Lorenz is saying that these people have to say Democratic Party shit or they don't get paid. And then the people that are getting paid are saying, hey, man, we're just being ourselves and it's good to have funding. And but everybody is just trying to make a name for themselves and trying to advance, right? The Democratic creators want to be able to interview Jamie Raskin and AOC and Bernie Sanders and fucking whomever, right? Taylor Lorenz wants to get big, high-paying jobs from Wired Magazine and other newspapers, so she needs to come up with the big scoops. If she finds the scandals that gets all the clicks, she's gonna get a better paying job, right? And I mean, it's interesting because I like Taylor Lorenz, right? I'm on both sides of this. I like Brian Tyler Cohen and I like Taylor Lorenz, right? But I see like both of them are like sort of maintaining their shit. Like Taylor Lorenz, she spends half of her time saying, since I quit, you know, the Washington Post, I can barely afford to keep my YouTube channel afloat. She's like, I can barely afford to live. So anytime Taylor Lorenz writes something, she's trying to write the juiciest scandal possible because that's how she makes a living. So, right? So there's nobody out there that is not making decisions that don't have something to do with them trying to make a living, right? On all sides, right? But I'm curious though, because there is one thing I saw, guys, that made me think, right? There's one video I want to show you that is intriguing in this though, okay? You ready? So let's watch this. Let's get in here and see what we got. Dude, it's crazy though too, because I feel like all the people I know, like Taylor Lorenz, she's actually been really good to me, helping me out with fucking TikTok and shit. But let's watch her thing here. So we have people that are going at it. Okay? All right, so we're going to look, there's Brian's video. All right, I will say this with Chorus, I did apply for Chorus, okay? And I thought maybe because I knew Brian, I would have like an inroad. And I did not. I did not get into Chorus. I did not get accepted. But it's actually a good idea. Like an incubator that fucking helps people like create their content. Like Brian Tyler Cohen has helped me immeasurably. Like my channel's growing like a madman because of like some of his ingenuity, because he's a really good YouTuber. Right now, he doesn't tell me like what to say, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? But, you know, if you like somebody, you fucking are going to represent them differently than if you don't like somebody, right? Like if I make a video about Brian Tyler Cohen, it's going to be different than if I make a video about Benny Johnson. You know what I'm saying? You know? Right? Because I fucking can't stand Benny Johnson, right? But I like Brian a lot, you know? Yeah, no, I think Chorus is good too. Now, here though, let's watch Taylor's video though. Because she is like kicking up the fucking, oh, there it is. Dude, here it is. All right, now, here's the thing though. Like, I think this is going to be, right? This is going to be her fucking identity here, you know, for a while, right? Because everybody's trying to make a living. But let's watch this one, okay? All right, here we go. Oops.
Really funding some of the biggest Democratic influencers on the internet. After the Democrats lost last November.
Hold on, here we go. All right, you ready? She's a looker. Oh, you got a crush on Taylor Lorenz? You like that? Dude, she's very attractive. She's really smart, though. She is a good reporter. She's a good reporter. Like, she's thorough. You know what I'm saying? I'm really intrigued, though, because some of this shit is not surprising, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like some of these people, you know, are fucking, some of these people, you know, are sort of like pro DNC, right? Like Olivia Giuliana, she is like so centrist. She is like such a centrist DNC person. So is Harry Sisson, right? Those guys are like right up the middle. They are right up the gut of the Democratic Party, right? And whether they're getting funding or not funding, it doesn't even matter. That's just their vein, you know? But I mean, dude, if you like the Democratic Party and you love the fucking be a part of that and they pay you, like, I don't really have a problem with that. I think I have a problem with it if they're paying you and you're saying shit you don't believe in, right? If you don't like the party and you are doing it just for money, then to me, it's complicated. But if you're like a pro-Democratic Party person and they fucking pay you to like, you know, continue messaging for them, is that an issue, right? I don't think that's an issue. You like them coming on your show. They're on your show. You like what they're doing. You support them. You know, I mean, like MeidasTouch. I mean, look at MeidasTouch, dude. Those guys are like as pro-Democrat Party as possible. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about MeidasTouch, though, is they mostly don't cover any topic that would potentially shred the Democratic Party. I mean, they're pretty good about like supporting Zohran Mamdani, but you're never going to see MeidasTouch make a video calling out Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries for not supporting Zohran Mamdani. I don't think you'll find them making that video, right? They'll make the video about Zohran and be like, yeah, he's great. And they'll have interviews and have Hakeem and Chuck on. Do they have videos being critical of them? Dude, link me to one, right? Link me to one, Rachel. I've not seen it, but I'm curious about that, where they actually call them out for not supporting. Dude, that's impressive. I didn't think they went that far, but let's go. But they don't lean too hard into like anti-Democratic Party, because like for them, like they support 𝗙𝗪𝗏, and I don't like 𝗙𝗪𝗏. You know what I'm saying? I don't like 𝗙𝗪𝗏. There are some people that Midas supports that I find a little, you know, they're like 𝗙liche 𝗏𝗧, 𝗙𝗪𝗏. I don't really like some of them, you know, and I get it. They're Democrats and like they're winning. I mean, it's hard. Right? Here's what's hard, guys. You ready? And I get this with my leftist internal compass, okay? Is like, check this out, guys. So you know I don't like 𝗙liche 𝗏𝗧, okay? I'm very clear that I don't like 𝗙liche 𝗏𝗧, right? However, I'd rather have 𝗙liche 𝗏𝗧 win in Michigan than a Republican, right? And see, that's what's hard. Would I love to have somebody like Zohran Mamdani win in Michigan? Sure, but he's not, okay? You know what I'm saying? So the thing is I'd rather have 𝗙liche 𝗏𝗧, the corporate middle-of-the-road Democrat, than a Republican, right? And that's the thing that we get hard about when you go national, is those types of allegiances, right? I mean, if nobody voted for 𝗙liche 𝗏𝗧, that Senate seat would be a Republican seat. There's not a far-left Democrat that could win that Michigan seat. You know what I'm saying? A Michigan Senate seat, you're not going to get a far-left Democrat to win a Senate seat in Michigan because it's 50-50. Okay, a far-left Democrat can win in New York City. Far-left Democrat can win in Oregon. Right? But a far-left Democrat is not winning a Senate seat in fucking Michigan. You have a corporate shitter like 𝗙liche 𝗏𝗧, a military, corporate, fucking middle-of-the-road that also is pro-LGBTQ, right? She's going to win there, or you're going to have a Republican. And that's it. You know, that's the only option. You know, it's in the description, Rachel. It's in the description. But anyway, let's watch Taylor's expose here.
A powerful liberal dark money group is secretly funding some of the biggest Democratic influencers on the internet. After the Democrats lost last November, the party faced a reckoning. It was clear that they had failed to successfully navigate the new media landscape. While Republicans have spent decades building a powerful independent media ecosystem, the Democrats have largely relied on outdated strategies and traditional media.
See, I'd like to pause there, though. Because did you see what Taylor said there? She said, while Republicans have built a powerful independent media ecosystem, but they haven't. They have built a media ecosystem that supports their party objectives. It's not independent. The right-wing ecosystem is not independent. It is media that expresses right-wing party fucking, like, party points. And they all express the same shit mostly to advance the right wing winning elections. So if the Democrats are going to compete with that, they're going to find people that are pro the Democratic Party, that love the party, and they're going to pay them money to love the fucking party. And but I mean, that's not even a scandal because the Republican, they don't have an independent media system. They got a system that expresses the Republican talking points. And so if the Democrats pay some people, they're going to express the Democratic Party talking points. You know what I mean? I mean, I just thought it was interesting how she framed that there, that she framed that the Republicans have built this independent media ecosystem, but the Democrats are secretly funneling dark money. And it's like, no, they're just trying to do the same thing the Republicans are, which is to find every pro-Democratic Party content creator and to give them money so they'll make a whole bunch of content. You know, it's like the same fucking thing. They're just trying to compete.
But last month, a covert new program aimed at bolstering Democratic support on the internet began rolling out. The 1630 Fund, a dark money group, is working with 𝗙•, a liberal influencer collective, to secretly pay pro-Democrat online influencers up to $8,000 a month. The influencers have to attend regular messaging check-ins, but the program is being run in secret. According to contracts viewed by Wired, the influencers would be kicked out for even speaking about it.
Now, did they put a contract out? Because she said, according to contract viewed by Wired, right? That but have they shown us in the contract where it says that they can't? Cause I don't what I know about 𝗙•is right. What I know about 𝗙ₛ is it was not so much about here's your messaging, but 𝗙ₛ was supposed to be about them showing you how to be a great YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? They show you how to be a fucking, right? How to, the same shit that Brian Tyler Cohen did for me, right? Which is he gave me advice about thumbnails and he gave me advice about the algorithm and he gave me advice about how many buckets to put shit in and how to identify what's working and not working, right? You know what I'm saying? And well, no, the thing for 𝗙ₛ, all of 𝗙ₛ is left wing. Right? It's supposed to be a creator incubator. So you have really successful YouTubers that are meeting with you to show you how to be a better YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? But she's saying that the funding that's coming from 𝗙ₛ to support those creators is coming from the 1630 project. Okay? Now I know Brian Tyler Cohen started 𝗙ₛ, but I also know he wasn't paying those creators out of his own pocket. I knew it was coming from some left-wing political money was funding this endeavor, right? Either investors or something. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Influencers included in communication and an onboarding session for those receiving payment from the 1630 Fund include Olivia Juliana, the centrist Gen Z influencer who spoke at the DNC last summer, 𝗏𝗏_𝗏, a content creator who runs an American Girl doll themed pro-DNC meme account, Suzanne Lambert, who has called herself a Regina George liberal, Aaron Parnas, who has been called the Gen Z Walter Cronkite, and dozens of others.
But so what I'm trying to get here is, yeah, Krygo, I know. I'm trying to get like, I don't get what the big deal is. Okay. If you're a left-wing creator and like the party in power on the left side likes what you say and they want you to be their spokesperson and then they pay you money. I mean, it's, you know, if you're a Democrat, right? Like I like the Democratic Party. If they gave me $4,000 a month to fucking have a bunch of their people on my show, I wouldn't fucking like, would that be bad? If they gave me $4,000 a month to interview the fucking Democratic fucking reps, I'd be like, let's go, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. I like the Democratic Party. I'd have Gavin Newsom on for $4,000. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, I mean, I just know that like I don't really see the I don't really see the problem. If you are pro-Democrat Party and they like your messaging and they give you money, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that a problem? You know, oh, you like us? Oh, you do good for us. Here's some money. Thank you. They're paying them to say, yeah, I know. I feel like they're paying them to say what they're going to say anyway, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like you heard me the other day where I said, if Gavin Newsom wins the primary, I'm in Gavin Newsom's corner and I'm pro Gavin Newsom all through the election, right? Dude, so if they decide to pay me to say that, I'm going to say that anyway, whether I'm paid or not paid. You know what I mean? Now, yes, I think what Daniel says would be that, now that's true, is if they're paying these content creators and then they're sending them every week, here's what you need to talk about, then it gets a little weird. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like if they're paying them to then expressly say these specific points, right? Like here today, you're going to talk about how, like, you know, progressives are bad or some shit. Like, then it would get a little weird. But I do want to share a video for you guys that Z made that, like, rubbed me a little the wrong way. Okay? Okay? And I'll show you. Let me just show you after this. We're going to watch hers and Brian Tyler Cohen's. And then I got to play you a video of somebody that, like, something that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, where one of my center Democrat content creators like insulted one of the leftist creators that I really like. And that I thought was really, I don't know, it was a little weird. It was a little weird.
The whole thing raises questions about independent media funding, non-disclosures on political content, and standards surrounding ethics and transparency in the content creator industry.
See, here's the thing, though. This is the thing that she said is like the whole thing brings like she said, it brings questions about the independent media. But like, guys, I don't think any media is independent. Okay? Dude, media is not independent. Nobody is fucking independent. You have sponsors, you have money behind you, you have allegiances, personal allegiances. There's no such thing as independent, man. I don't care if you're on the far left or the far right or anywhere in between. You have an audience that you're accountable to. You have financial investors that you're accountable to. Kyle, no, but it's not even about the sponsor money, because you're right. Kyle doesn't take sponsor money and they're money funded. But like Kyle, though, if Kyle started like being pro-centrist candidates, his audience would flip out on him, right? Kyle's going to stay topic-wise with whatever's big with his audience, like all creators are, right? Like you know what I'm saying? And that's all of us, right? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like Kyle's not going to fucking ever make a like Israel's not bad piece of content. Okay? Because his audience would be like, what the fuck are you doing, Kyle? Right? You know what I'm saying? You know, like, I mean, you know, we all have our fucking, I don't know, we're accountable to our audiences at least. I mean, he's got to make what his audience consumes or his channel's going to die. I mean, everybody on YouTube, we're all audience captured, like to a degree. You know what I'm saying? it's like, it is like, it's the way YouTube works, right? YouTube has a very specific algorithm where your current subscribers have to like love your material. And that's how you get new people, right? If your subscribers don't watch the videos you make, no new people will see them. So what YouTube does is they put you in a loop of audience capture where you have to make the shit that your current audience is consuming, and you have to make it and then make a little bit of other stuff to reach new audiences where you get the slow growth. But nobody new will see you unless you're making plenty of the shit that your audience consumes. So you may have seen it with me, right? I went through a period where I was making a lot of TYT videos, and my audience was consuming it. So I made a ton of TYT videos. And then I hit on the Epstein. And now I've been making a lot of Epstein videos. Now, I'm not doing it just for money. I like those subjects and I like making those videos, right? But the thing about it is like I am fucking, you know, I'm going to be making whatever subject my audience is consuming because I want to keep growing. And yeah, dude, I agree with what Tony said there too, that the 1630 fund funds a lot of democratic issues. They fund a lot of shit. And so this is really weird that like, I don't understand why you have a money group that's paying creators and paying to get left-wing messaging out. And like, why is Taylor trying to damage them? Is it because they're not left-wing enough? Like, would she be making this video if it was like a dark money group supporting Bernie Sanders? I mean, even dark money. I mean, dude, 1630 is just, it's like any PAC. They don't tell you who's donating to it. None of them do. That's not all like dark money. I think dark money is something that doesn't have a name, right? I mean, the 1630 group, you can Google it. I mean, it's not hidden. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the 1630 group, this shit ain't, the 1630 fund is not hidden. They have a fucking, it's like it was founded in 2009. This is a left-wing fucking money group that's been around for 16 fucking years. It's not a secret. It's like a progressive organization that funds all kinds of shit. Okay? And they're linked up with a whole bunch of other funds. But like they don't disclose who puts money in this. But like, you know, none of these groups do. You know? So, I mean, I don't, right? And I mean, you know, I guess some of the papers, though, the Atlantic calls them the indisputable heavyweight of Democratic dark money, but like effectively untraceable money to progressive causes. But I mean, is that their issue? Is their issue with the 1630 or is there issue with the Democrats taking money from it? Because I mean, for me, dude, if I get to say what I want to say, as long as I get to say what I want to say, if a progressive group comes to me and says, I'll give you $1 million to keep fucking talking shit about like Donald Trump, dude, I'm taking that $1 million, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as long as it's from a reputable group, which I think the 1630 fund is reputable. I mean, I don't think this is funded by Russia, right? You know? But yeah, I don't understand what the dish is, though. This is a little interesting, though, right? I find this a little curious, though, right? You see this? That it said it funded pro and anti-RFK, right, junior efforts? Like, why did they fund pro RFK Jr.? I guess maybe they were trying to fuck Trump up, weren't they? Right? So that's what they were doing, right? They were pro RFK to try and fucking hurt Trump. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense, right? But yeah, dude, I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't really see the problem with this, but whatever. Let's see Taylor's fucking thing here.
Head over to Wired to read my full story. A powerful
Head over to Wired. Dude, I read this story. All right, let's see what Brian Tyler Cohen said, all right, about Chorus. Now, I do know Chorus is fucking legitimate, okay? I mean, again, if Chorus had been bad, I wouldn't have applied to be a part of it. But I wanted to be a part of it. Like, who doesn't want to get paid for doing what they do and have, you know, a bunch of industry professionals helping you? You know what I'm saying? This has led to its classification of dark money by news outlets, lack of transparency. Oh, is it because you don't know who the donors are? Right? You don't know who the donors are of the dark money or whatever? Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know. Dude, when you work for a company and they give you money, you don't know who all the investors in the company are always. You know what I'm saying? Like, or if there's a hedge fund that's giving you money, like, you don't know who all those people are, right? But I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's see what Brian says.
At the risk of giving an internet troll more attention, I want to address a piece that Taylor Lorenz wrote yesterday for Wired. An initiative aimed at boosting Democrats online offers influencers up to $8,000 a month to push the party line. All they have to do is keep it secret and agree to restrictions on their content.
See, I think that's the part, right? Is that part right there is about, like, restrictions on their content and having to keep it secret. Now, I don't know. I don't know if there's restrictions on their content. I mean, I don't know. My experience of, like, I mean, obviously I'm not a part of Chorus, but from my interactions with Brian Tyler Cohen, he does not strike me as a content restricting kind of voice. Okay. Him personally, the thing he founded, I don't think it's a content restricting voice. I think if anything, what they would do is they might only pick creators that are in line with the Democratic, you know, a little bit with the establishment, because Brian Tyler Cohen, he interviews the big Democratic names, right? He's not out there pretending he's something he's not, but he is not an enemy of the Democratic Party, you know, nor would I expect him to be. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He's like, he's, I don't know. He's just all kind of like, he's a progressive, but I don't know. I feel like he's similar to me, that he's a progressive, but he's also, like, okay with the Democratic Party and does not hate the levers of power. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, he speaks out against, like, you know, for and against all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? But all right, let's see what he says.
All they have to do is keep it secret and agree to restrictions on their content. Literally nothing in this statement is true. The article is about Chorus, which is a nonprofit that I helped found to build up our creator ecosystem, which everybody says they want, but few are doing. So here's what Chorus is. It is a scholarship program to teach creators how to grow their accounts, foster engagement, launch their own shows, and become profitable on their own. It's an incubator program to build the pro-democracy ecosystem. Influencers and creators have never been more important when it comes to how Americans are consuming their news. The right has been doing this for years, and the left needs to catch up. That's why we're doing this with Chorus. So let's talk about what Chorus is and what it's not. Chorus does not...
Let me just say something too, though, guys. You ready? So I do want to clear something up, because you said about, no, I got denied. Right? I got denied. I got my denial, like, I don't know, 2 months ago or something. But to say what Zik said there about Zik said that they get the high-end Democratic politicians on their shows, you wouldn't be surprised if they're paid by Democrats. I mean, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if many creators that support the Democratic Party are getting paid by Democratic PACs somewhere along the line. Or even if they're not, you're getting paid by, like, the content. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a part of it too, right? That, like, if somebody will come on your show, you know, somebody that's a big name, they come on your show, you're making content, right? You know what I mean? Sometimes it's against your will, right? Like, Cenk and Anna have made me a lot of money and they've never even come on my show, right? You know, but they don't copy strike me, but I use, right? I fucking provide commentary on them and they're helping, like, create my career. And then when I'm big like them, there will be some upstart that will be making content taking me to task, and they'll be making a living off, right? I mean, it always sort of flows downhill like that. I mean, even with Donald Trump, as much as everybody hates Donald Trump, every creator on the planet in the political realm is making money because of Donald Trump's fucking asinine piece of shit nature and virality, right? We're all making money because of that dumb fuck. You know what I'm saying? Shanky! Oh, Shanky! Dude, oh, I got the Shankies! All right. But I don't know, man. I'm not buying, though. I'm not buying that, right? I'm not buying that like Brian Tyler Cohen is telling creators you can't talk X, Y, or Z. I don't believe that for a second. And Rachel 𝗙cie_𝗶𝗹𝗀 is like, Sabby's pretty, she's kind of annoying. She is like one of those super anti-democratic fucking people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? She's like super Democrat, anti-Democrat party. 𝗙cie_𝗶𝗹𝗀 is. She was one of those like Jill Stein people. So, and part of it though is like, for somebody like Sabby, she's in a tough spot because she has to audience capture completely because she has an audience that is like voraciously anti-democratic party, right? These are kind of, I don't know. I saw some of that with Hassan's audience too. Like I said, when I made a pro Hassan video, the very next video I made was a pro Joe Biden video because I didn't want Hassan's audience because they're too audience capture, right? If Hassan's audience becomes your audience, you are stuck in a one lane of like far left fucking socialism. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to be stuck there, right? That's not like, you know what I mean? You know? And so the thing about this though, like, so the thing about the Israel, okay, the Israel-Gaza thing is complicated, okay? Because, like somebody who's Jewish and even recognizes that there's a genocide over there, it's still very complicated for a Jewish person to like weigh in on publicly on that genocide. I'm sure it's like super complicated for them. Okay. I mean, for me, it was really hard figuring out how to like navigate providing commentary on that because I went to college and I was in a Jewish fraternity. And so I like a huge portion of the people I know were like Jewish people. So like me, like supporting them and being critical of Benjamin Netanyahu, it's difficult, man. You know what I'm saying? It is difficult. It's like, it's a hard, like acknowledging the genocide and also seeing the anti-Semitism that gets right. Because again, I've talked about this, about how supporting Palestinians and being against the genocide is not anti-Semitic at all. Not at all. However, anti-Semitic people use the support of Palestine and the genuine care of the genocide. They use that to espouse anti-Semitism. Okay, so being pro-Palestine and saying end the genocide is not anti-Semitic, but a lot of anti-Semitic people are using that movement to achieve their anti-Semitic aims. And that's where it gets dicey, navigating like supporting the Palestinian people and ending the genocide while not advancing anti-Semitic fucking like anti-Jewish fucking bigotry at the same time. Okay. It's really hard. And even with the Zionism, like people are using Zionism to separate it, but then there are people that are using Zionists like they're using anti-Zionism the same way that they were anti like Jewish people. But now they're just using the Zionism word because it gives them a pass. It's like the same shit that we see with these Republicans who won't come out and be openly racist, but they'll use the buzzword of Chicago to stand for black people. I do see people like fucking like deeply anti-Semitic people are now trying to use the Zionist way as a way of being anti-Semitic, but getting away with it. And so you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's all super complicated, right? It is. It's like a complicated issue. And the thing about that is, William, is the thing about, like, when you say Jews are not special people, I think all people are special people, right? And you know, the thing is still in our lifetime, in my lifetime, in like my grandparents' lifetime, they were the survivors of like a gnarly extermination campaign. Like, you know, so it's like, it's weird because I feel like ultimately what the Jewish people have gone through and what the Palestinian people are going through now because of people like Netanyahu, I feel like ultimately those two sides should come together. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And I don't think anybody's saying they're the most special of all people. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, every religion though thinks that, right? Like, the Jewish people think they're the chosen ones in the Abrahamic religion, as do the Islamic people, the Muslims, and the evangelical Christians. All three heads of that Abrahamic religion thing are a battle of like which group is the chosen ones. And that's really what's fucked up too. You know what I'm saying? You hate those words? Yeah, see, I don't hate those words, right? I don't hate those words. Like, I guess I understand why they're there. You know, I mean, it's the same as like, you know, racism and xenophobia and like, you know, anti-LGBTQ stuff. We have those words to sort of identify proclivities, you know what I'm saying? And they're starving people to death, but they're not, right? Netanyahu, right? The regime is starving people to death, tunnel time. You know what I'm saying? The Jewish people aren't, the same way that Donald Trump is starving people to death by ending U.S. aid. Okay. But like, that doesn't mean I'm starving people to death because Donald Trump cut off U.S. aid. You know what I mean? But anyway, you know, right? So the contract viewed by Wired. Yeah. Well, again, I'd like to see the contract, but again, though, to me, that's not unreasonable. Okay. If Chorus is fucking paying you, right, to be a part of their incubator program and they're showing you how to grow and spread the fucking left-wing progressive message, then if they're paying you money, them like seeing who your bookings are, that totally makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody does that. Okay. If I have a sponsor, right? If Nike's my sponsor, I'm gonna wear Nike shirts. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're not going to let me wear a Reebok fucking jogging suit if Nike is my sponsor, right? If they're giving me money, I mean that if somebody's paying you, they do like now that doesn't mean that they're going to like prevent you from having anybody on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that that's actually taken place, but you know what I'm saying? But like if somebody's paying you money to fucking support your channel, them wanting to be apprised of the bookings, I mean, that doesn't seem unreasonable. Now, if they're saying you can't book X, Y, and Z, then that's a little bit different if it contractually prevents you from booking. But the fact that they just want to know who you're having on, right? Like, I could see that. I don't know, man. We'll see. But anyway, let's finish this.
Not pay creators for content, does not tell them what to say, it does not control years, and the left needs to catch up. That's why we're doing this with Chorus. So let's talk about what Chorus is and what it's not. Chorus does not pay creators for content, does not tell them what to say, it does not control who they talk to or work with, and there is absolutely nothing in the contract that could even be reasonably interpreted to say that we do. Period. Full stop. I don't know a single creator who would willfully sign up for a program that would tell them what they can or can't say. That's not what this program is. We pay people to show up to workshops and technical trainings to optimize their content online. For example, we've got trainings on how to package content for YouTube, trainings on how to optimize audience retention for Instagram and TikTok, trainings on how to form an LLC. Again, there are zero restrictions on their content. And by the way, the program works. In just 2 months, our cohort has added a combined 6 million followers. That's not including me.
Dude, that's crazy.
Their views and engagement grow. That is the point of the program, to teach creators how to be effective with whatever messages they want to promote. And with regard to keeping it a secret, there is a standard confidentiality clause in the contract to protect the privacy of the creators. On the literal first day of the program, it was made clear to all of the creators in our kickoff session that they were absolutely free to talk about 𝗙𝗏. And we immediately followed up to confirm that in writing. Creators have videos about 𝗙𝗏. They've got donation links to 𝗙𝗏 in their bios. I myself have made videos that were posted all over the internet about...
See, I think Taylor, if you look at Taylor Lorenz, I see what's going on here. So Taylor Lorenz is like, 𝗙𝗏 is the incubator program, and the creators are like, we're in 𝗙𝗏, but Taylor's like, well, 1630 is the funding. But like, of course, somebody's funding 𝗙𝗏. I mean, Brian Tyler Cohen's not paying for it himself, right? There's either investors or a fucking think tank or 1630, right? So, but I guess I don't know what their beef is. I guess they don't know who's funding 1630. Is that the problem? That they're, you know, because they're not talking about who the funding is, you know? But like, dude, I don't know. I mean, who's the funding? You know what I'm saying? If I get paid by Coca-Cola because they're sponsoring me, who's funding them? Like, dude, they have investors all over the place. We don't know where that money's coming from. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how big this controversy is really, but
about 𝗙𝗏 that reached hundreds of thousands of people, it is not a secret, and it never was. There's the implication in the article that this is some arm of the DNC or the Democratic Party. We have literally nothing to do with the DNC. I spend 0 minutes of my day thinking about the DNC. The creators do not toe any party line. How could we? There isn't a party line. Creators are absolutely allowed to speak out against the Democrats, and in fact, plenty do. And frankly, 𝗙𝗏 creators should and do criticize Democrats when they suck, and quite often, they do suck. I've seen posts saying that this is AIPAC funded, which couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, I don't think it's AIPAC funded. Is that what they're worried about? That it's AIPAC funded? Is that, I don't know. I feel like, is that an undertone? Cause they like dance around that. Cause Taylor kept saying like dark money group. But like, dude, you don't know where any of the funding comes from with these super PACs. You know, that's just kind of like, they're all dark money groups. You know what I'm saying? Like every hedge fund is a dark money group. You know, BlackRock is a dark money group. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd venture to guess that most 𝗙𝗏 creators, myself included on both YouTube and Substack, have spoken out against the atrocities in Gaza. Lorenz says that the 1630 Fund is, quote, a powerful liberal dark money group. 1630 Fund is our fiscal sponsor. One of the largest documented donors to 1630 Fund is the same person funding 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍 Reporters in Residence program, which Taylor Lorenz herself is a part of.
Oh, shit. Oh, did you hear that? That's the part that Taylor left out. Dude, I mean, I think Taylor Lorenz wants to be like Ken Klippenstein, right? I mean, you know Ken Klippenstein, right? I fucking get annoyed by that motherfucker. Dude, Christina, let's go. Dude, let's go, dude. Let's start a dance party super chat. But we're going to go back and listen to this one because I think Taylor just got yanked, bro. But like Ken Klippenstein is like so negative towards the Democratic Party. There we go. 45 minutes. Let's get 10 super chats. It's not stickers, by the way. It's only super chats are only. But anyway, let's see this. Let's see what he says here. All right, here we go.
Documented donors to 1630 have spoken out against the atrocities in Gaza. Lorenz says that the 1630 Fund is, quote, a powerful liberal dark money group. 1630 Fund is our fiscal sponsor. One of the largest documented donors to 1630 Fund is the same person funding 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍 Reporters in Residence program, which Taylor Lorenz herself is a part of. Oh. And guess what her monthly stipend is? $8,000 per month. So she's criticizing an entity that is funded by someone that she is currently taking money from.
No way, dude. Is that true? Taylor Lorenz is getting $8,000 a month from a writer's fucking fund funded by the same people that are funding 1630? Like, no way, bro. So she's getting she's getting a fat check and then saying Democrat. I mean, dude, that's funny. I mean, it's weird because she spends so much time online saying like, I'm not getting any money. I can barely keep my channel afloat. Oh my God, please go watch my YouTube videos. I'm so broke. And now we find out she's getting $8,000 a month from the writers program. Dude, that's rough, dude. I want some of that. Taylor, give me my cut, bro. I want $8,000 a month. I deserve $8,000 a month. Somebody give me my cut.
I guess it's okay when Taylor Lorenz gets paid, but no one else. The monthly stipend that we offer is so that creators can do this work full time. We've had numerous creators in the cohort quit their jobs so that they can focus on creating content full time. That is what we want. I'm really proud that we can give creators that security for as long as they're in the program.
Dude, they didn't accept me. Chorus, you should have accepted me. I need $8,000. I fucking deserve it.
We want people to create pro-democracy content full time, and we want to make sure that they can afford to pay their rent and their bills while doing it. If I could have cohorts with 1,000 people in it so that everybody could be part of the program, I would.
Go.
For everybody saying that they would like to be part of the next cohort, we would love for you to apply. That's our whole goal. It's to build up an army of pro-democracy content creators who can speak authentically about the issues that they care about and be able to do it as effectively as possible. I should note that while I started this program, I have never and will never get paid. I do this 100% as a volunteer. I have never earned a dime from Chorus, and I never will. I want every dollar that we raise to go to creators so that they can do this important work without spending 8 hours a day working at some different job. I've been saying for years that the left needs to build up its creator space. That has never been more true than it is right now. Influencers and creators have never been more important when it comes to how Americans are consuming their news. The left is a decade behind right now. We desperately need incubators teaching and amplifying new content creators, and not just Chorus, by the way. There are other programs in this space doing the same thing. I want all of them to succeed. We need all of them to succeed. There are people like Taylor Lorenz who are desperate to tear the left apart, and in fact, it becomes clear who her efforts help when you hear stuff like this.
Genuinely, I kind of like Taylor Lorenz because I know that she actually believes what she says. Do you get what I'm saying?
So yeah, I generally don't align myself with friends of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. I continue to believe that the left needs massive investments into the independent media space. I'm really proud of the program that we've built. I'm really proud that we've allowed creators to do this work full time. I'm really proud of the independence that they have to say whatever they want to say in whatever way they want to say it. I'm really proud that our creators are seeing their channels and their pages grow. My goal is to see an army emerge from the left to take on what's happening on the right. Taylor Lorenz and Republicans don't want to see it, but we do. If you also want to get in the fight, apply to the program at wearechorus.org.
Dude, let's go. I'm going to reply again. Let me just tell you this. Dude, 6. Let's go, baby. Here's one thing I do want to say, okay, is that one of the things that I wanted to say, fuck, bro. Dude, let's go. Not dark money, just clean from credit card. Let's go, baby. Oh, fucking A. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy, okay, because the dark money, see, for me, guys, that dark money phrase and the fact that she kept saying it over and over and over again, it really bothered me. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to play you the beginning of this again because I want to show you, watch what she says here, because she's very, very clear about the Democrats and dark money, but then she says the Republicans have been building an independent media network for years. But like the Republicans don't have an independent network. They have a network with literal talking points that are like scripted to where they will all tweet the same fucking shit all day long. You know what I'm saying? There's no, like, it is very much a you say this. But watch what she says.
A powerful liberal dark money group is secretly funding some of the biggest Democratic influencers on the internet. After the Democrats lost last November, the party faced a reckoning. It was clear that they had failed to successfully navigate the new media landscape. While Republicans have spent decades building a powerful independent media ecosystem.
Right. While Republicans have spent decades building a powerful independent media ecosystem, but the Republicans have not built anything independent. They have built a fucking spit out the same talking points from 20 different angles. Nobody like differs. You know what I mean? I mean, that's really, that's what I noticed right off the bat was like she framed it as this dirty, dark money Democratic thing, but the Republicans have built this really impressive independent media. And it's like, no, they haven't. The Republicans are bullshit, fucking 3 talking points, beat us over the head and lie. And like, you know, are the Democrats trying to pay a whole bunch of content creators so they can make shit? Like, dude, you know, I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. I think maybe, and it's crazy though to find out that Taylor's getting $8,000 a month from the same people that are funding 1630. Dude, what? Wait a second. How's that work, bro? That's crazy. All right. I don't know, man. I don't think this is really a huge controversy. Dude, I didn't know what we were getting into, but like, yeah, dude, like fucking crazy. Oh, shit. She's on her way to being Benny Johnson. I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, dude, Taylor is fucking, she's a good reporter, but she reminds me a little bit of 𝗫𝗙𝗆𝗆. And so do you guys know about 𝗫𝗙𝗆𝗆? I have some issues with Kenny Clip, dude. I do. You know what I'm saying? Right? I have some issues with Kenny Clip. Okay? Because the thing about him is like, dude, Ken is a, right? Ken is a fucking, like, he's a reporter who's like a progressive reporter, but he is subtly always attacking and chipping away at the Democratic Party, right? And I don't know, man. Like, sometimes when you have people on the left that are chipping away at the Democratic Party, it feels a little bit like they're of the right. You know what I'm saying? You know, it feels a little weird, like, you know, and what does she say? She says, Brian is lying. I have zero financial ties to 1630, and neither does Omidyar Networks, LLC, which is not a dark money org, is nonpartisan. And like, so Omidyar Networks, right? So they're saying, you're lying. No, I'm lying. No, you're lying. But Omidyar Networks, LLC, let's see who that is. That's where Taylor's getting her money. So Omidyar Network, this is where Taylor, you loading or what? What's going on? Yeah, he didn't say 1630. Yeah, no, he said he takes, it's the same funding, right? Dude, this website's fucking killing my shit, bro. Dude, I don't like websites that fucking kill my thing, but is Omidyar Network listed in here? Because, let's see. All right, so hold on. Let's do this. Let's say who funds Omidyar Network, okay? So Omidyar Network, okay, is funded. So they provide the primary part of the Omidyar group. So here's the thing though, is like it's funded by, so Omidyar Network is funded by fucking Pierre Omidyar and a bunch of other people. It's funded by Unitas, the microfinance sector, right? The Avena Foundation, and the money coming in from India. Let's go, baby. Let's go. It does matter who they get their funding from. It does. Well, I mean, it matters who everybody gets their funding from, right? But I guess for me, it kind of depends on if the funding is coming from the left, right? You know what I'm saying? Dude, fuck off, boss. Later. Oh, you talk shit. You go away. Later. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, no gamer chodes allowed, boss. You must have thought it was 2021. It ain't 2021 anymore. Sorry. Later. Oh, shit, dude. Yeah, no, the gamer chodes come in and they want to give me the double talk. They're like, oh, I'm so mad that you're successful in gaming and politics. My gaming YouTube channel doesn't have anybody watching it because I'm just so uncorruptible. Dude, let's go, dude. Oh, shit. Dude, am I a sellout? Bro, I was born a fucking sellout, dude. I sold out to my mom's vagina, boss. Yeah, I'm not a pro. Oh, you ain't a pro. I just make money. All right. So anyway, so I guess what he was saying, right? He was saying that the Emitter network also funds some of 1630. Okay, or they're getting some of the same funding. See, it's hard because we don't know who funds all this shit. I mean, look at this shit, dude. Right? Like, all of this shit is funded by shit. Oh, here's what it is. Here, you ready? So it's this. The Hopewell Fund. Look, here's the connection, guys. Okay, let's look at Taylor. She says she has zero financial ties to 1630. But here's what we found out, okay? Taylor Lorenz receives $8 million or $8,000 a month from Emitter Network's reporting program, okay? Which is not dark money. However, the guy who runs Emitter Network, okay, Emitter, he is an investor in Hopewell, okay? Right? The Hopewell Fund is funded by Pierre Emitter. So Hopewell funds 1630. So while Taylor Lorenz has she's not being paid by 1630, the same guy, one of the guys who's funding 1630 is funding the thing that's paying Taylor Lorenz. So her guy that's paying her $8,000 a month is funding Hopewell, which is funding 1630, which is funding people in chorus. So even though she has zero financial ties to 1630, no, Cohen was right. Cohen was right. He was right that Pierre Emitter, who funds Taylor Lorenz's thing, is also one of the funders of 1630. So Cohen was right, right? Pierre Emitter is the financial backer of Hopewell Fund, including this Swiss billionaire, and Hopewell Funds is one of the funders of 1630. Okay? So they're all connected, right? You know, dude, it's crazy, man. I mean, you know, it's not a direct tie, but they gave they are, all of these people are funding shit. I mean, all of this shit, dude, is like, it's all kind of dark money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Hopewell Fund is a dark money. Arabella Advisors, like, everything is dark money. You know, dude, we jumped on Keith. Oh, dude, was he getting them by chapter? Dude, yeah, see, I saw like Midas and Adam Mockler, they were all doing chapter. I've not done any corporate sponsorships, guys. I don't know if I ever will. I'm not really, you know, it's hard for me to do corporate sponsorships. I did some when I was a gamer. Like, I had a G Fuel sponsorship for a while. And then I did a computer sponsorship, which I canceled because they sent me a computer and it wasn't a good computer. So I canceled the sponsorship. And like, so I'm not opposed. Like, I'm not opposed to sponsorships if it's something I really believe in, but I'm also like, I don't like go looking for them. You know, I'm not a very good capitalist though. I'm not really concerned about making money. I just like to make content and fucking, you know, like have a good time, right? That's kind of what I do. But can I show you something though, guys? Something that did sort of rub me a little the wrong way that I don't know if it's related to this, but can I just show you? So the other day, not too long ago, Z followed me on fucking, on Twitter. Hold on, let me find it. Let's see, let me find here. Right here, Z. Okay, so Z followed me on Twitter, and I'd been following her for a while. And she's a Democrat. She is definitely a, like, not a far leftist. She is more aligned with, like, the Democratic Party. She is much more of a Democratic Party type person, okay? Z is. And I think she has some progressive shit too, but she's more of a campaign working type person, like a door knocker and a phone banker and somebody who works on campaigns. She doesn't just talk about politics. Like, she is more of a boots on the ground person. Okay. But I did notice something the other day where she talked about, let me find it. She talked about right here, okay? This is really interesting, okay? Because this girl is somebody on TikTok that I like very much, right? Hold on, let me pull up her fucking TikTok real quick. Slay the GOP is her name. Okay. So here she is. Okay. So this girl, Slay the GOP, she is like super far left. I think she's a little bit further left than I am, right? She's a little more of like out on the further left. Okay. Definitely further left than me. But I really like her content. She goes to town on Emily Wilson. Emily, I got fingered in the TPUSA lobby, Saves America, right? She has a beef with her, and she's constantly like shredding her online, okay? And that's how she got really well known, was calling out Emily Wilson and then Emily reacting to that and her reacting to Emily reacting. But she is definitely like further on the left, okay? Now, also though, like I said before, the further on the left people are not winning a lot of elections. They're mostly talking theoretical, okay? And that's just because America is not very far left. America is like a center-right country at best. But anyway, I saw this the other day that I thought was interesting, where Z said, PSA, leftists are not on our team. They are just as bad as MAGA. If you're a person that takes winning elections seriously, then stop engaging with their content. They think this is a game, and it's not a game. Winning the midterms is serious and needs to stay our central focus. Don't let people like this distract you from our shared goal, which is to beat Trump and MAGA. And like, this kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Okay, because we need to be a coalition with these people, right? Like, I feel like people that are center Democrats and people like Slay the GOP, like, we need to be working together. Okay, we need to we need to have each other on our team, right? And so let's watch this video. I mean, now there is a point in this video about how like the leftists are not actually boots on the ground winning elections, but they are in some place. They're winning in like New York City with Zohran Mamdani, right? They're winning with AOC. Okay. They're winning with Bernie Sanders. They're winning in places. But again, like, I didn't like the tone of this, of like leftists are not on our team. I don't think that's the way we need to operate. Just like I had a Bernie guy last night say, fuck you, Tommy, you're as bad as MAGA. I don't think that's true either. I don't think I'm MAGA, and I don't think fucking the leftists are MAGA. But I do think that the leftists, the far left, and the centrist Democrats, we do need to figure out how to make a fucking coalition, or we're not going to fucking win ever again. Okay? Like the left can't win without the centrists, and the centrists can't win without the left. And that's the fucking reality. And if we don't wake up to that and fucking smell the roses around that, we're going to end up having Bibles shoved up our fucking asses because we need each other. But
so I was reached out to about joining the Unfuck America tour. It's exploitation, and please do not confuse that for allyship.
This message is not for that girl because I have no fucking idea who she is. She was not invited to the Unfuck America tour. Clearly that message was just from a random supporter. But I want to give an example of why we need to stay away from people like this as we head into the midterms for 2026. As you all know, the whole point of the Unfuck America tour is not just to clap back at Charlie Kirk. It's to get voters registered for 2026. As we know from this New York Times article that was just posted this past week, we are so much further behind than even people like me on the ground thought that we were.
see, now, here's something, though, that's accurate, is Z's right about this, that, like, we are behind on voter registrations. And the Republicans have Charlie Kirk and fucking Scott Presler out there just registering everybody they can at flea markets, at gun shows, whatever. Now, granted, many of them may be low propensity voters and may not turn out to vote. But the thing is, like, what I have a problem with is that the problem is she's not blaming. That's not what she's doing. But the situation we have, though, is this, Somnio. The situation we have is we have Democrats that are trying to register voters and trying to get new Democratic voters. But then we have leftists that are spending all their time saying the Democratic Party is nearly as bad as MAGA. So that's what's hard, is you can't really, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to have a coalition when one side's trying to do the boots on the ground work and a portion of the party is literally just saying this whole party sucks. Whereas, like, it would be better if the leftists were out there actually registering leftists in the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the leftists are not actually doing any boots on the ground work. They are just talking. Okay, and this is my big problem with the American left. In Europe, the left has a party, and they're doing the boots on the ground. They're building their party. They're getting candidates elected. Here in America, the left is not doing that. They have not built a party. They're not doing the boots on the ground. Most of them are just saying the Democratic Party sucks, but they're not actually fucking doing anything. Right? They're not building a party in opposition of the Democratic Party, but they're tearing down the Democratic Party because they're saying they're not doing it right. And all that does, though, is lead to Republican wins. And that's the fucking problem. It's like, if you're a leftist, you need to either be like making a coalition with the Democratic Party in a way that works for you, or you need to start your own goddamn leftist party and be doing something where you're not just tearing down the only apparatus we have to take on the Republicans. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but Galatian, you say the Dems aren't doing it right, but have you won an election? If you're not winning an election, then you need to shut the fuck up, because you can say the Dems aren't doing it right, but where are your fucking election winners? How many people do you have in Congress with your platform? My guess is like, what, 5, right? So clearly it's like, if you're not getting into Congress on your platform, they may not be doing it right, but they're doing more than you, you know? And that's the problem. We need to be coalescing to fight the Republicans. Like, I don't want a Bible shoved up my ass. And I'm willing to make friends, make nice with centrists and liberals and fucking Hassan Piker in order to do it. But I'm not going to sit there and tear down the whole Democratic Party so I wake up tomorrow with J.D. Vance's hand up my ass, like tickling me with fucking Psalm 99. You know? It's like we need to fucking be like, instead of you're doing it wrong, well, all right, are you winning a goddamn election? Because then win an election and show me what right is. But if you're not winning an election, don't fucking tell everybody who is winning an election that they're all doing it wrong. Because then you're not being helpful. You're just being a fucking roadblock. You know what I'm saying? And we need to win the House, God damn it, in 2026. We need no more of this. You're doing it wrong. We need all hands on deck, like working together, right? And I don't care. I hate 𝗙cie𝗶𝗏𝗍𝗧, but I'd rather have her than a Republican, right? You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not 𝗙cie𝗶𝗏𝗍𝗧, sorry. 𝗙cie𝗶𝗏𝗏𝗧, sorry. Freudian slip. My bad, dude. You see? Dude, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather have 𝗙cie𝗶𝗏𝗏𝗧 than a goddamn Republican. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's what's hard about this shit, all right?
People that use these like buzzwords in the leftist movement, like performative and allyship and all of this like soy bullshit, are people that have never gone outside and actually knocked a door of any registered voter in this country. You know who loves to see this? You sitting on your ass trying to fucking mansplain what's performative as if you somehow get to fucking determine what's performative. Charlie Kirk and Scott Presler, who are registering voters by the thousands every day in swing states, mind you, like the one that you live in. So I am begging you, stop following these people. Stop engaging with their content. Stop allowing them to make money off of outrage while we are suffering because of policy. And let me leave you with this.
See, now, I don't know that that's the answer, but right? Because I like those leftist creators. However, there is a little bit of leftism that's just making money off outrage, but they're not actually like running for office. And this is part of the shit that sort of has bothered me. Like, why? Right? I mean, it's easy to get people outraged and say the Democrats are failing us, but like, you kind of got to be out there running for office. If you're saying the Democrats are failing us, but you're not running for office and like winning for us, then what are you doing? You know what I mean? What exactly are you doing if that's the case? Like, there's a little schism there for me with the people who are so anti-Democratic Party, but they're not running for office. Like, I like the Democratic Party. I like a lot of people in it. Okay, I think it's a little corporate and a little donor for sure. And I don't like the AIPAC shit that's infecting like our whole government, right? I don't like capitalism either. That's a whole nother story. But I don't hate the Democratic Party. I don't abhor it. I don't find it like just detestable. But what's crazy about it is everybody who does find the Democratic Party just like detestable, like the people who say like, fuck the Democrats, they're just as bad as everybody else, or they're the uniparty, whatever. If those people aren't running for office, then what the fuck are they doing? Why aren't they running for office? If they really think the Republicans and Democrats are the uniparty ruining our shit, but they're not running for office, what are they doing? Oh, they're just trying to use your fucking, like, your like feeling of hopelessness to make money. And trying to get you all riled up and mad to make money, right? Like, why aren't they running for office? If everybody's doing it wrong, but they have all the answers. If you're a leftist who said all the Democrats are full of shit, but you know the platform that would win, why aren't you running and winning on that goddamn platform then? That's a question, right? Yeah, if you ain't part of the solution, you are part of the problem, right? And that is something that about the leftism that is problematic, because we do need to win, okay? We need to beat the Republicans or we are going to have Bibles shoved up our ass. And so if you're contributing to the conversation in a way that's making your side lose the election, you need to change the way you're contributing to the conversation, okay? You know what I mean? You do. Like, unless you're trying to help Republicans win. Like, we all have to keep that in mind.
There is no allyship in losing elections. There's nothing pretty about that. Know who is actually on your team. And for those of you who actually want to take this seriously, please go to our website, unfuckamericatour.com, sign up to volunteer, sign up to donate. And as always, if you have questions after watching this video, send me a DM and I will help you out.
See, here's the thing, though, is to win in 2026, like, these two sides need to come together, man. Like, we need a big coming together, you know? Right? I think the problem may be that the party doesn't listen to what their voters want. Yeah, but so just some internet chick. See, that's not exactly true because, like, not all of the Democratic Party is the far left. Right. And in fact, some parts of the country, the Democratic Party is like Joe Biden voters, people that thought Joe Biden was like the greatest president ever. I know it's hard to believe that such people exist, but like that's the hard thing about the Democratic Party. There's a lot of different kind of voters. OK, they're not just far left. OK, they're not just AOC lovers. There are a bunch of people in the Democratic Party who love Gavin Newsom and think he would be the best president ever. And the people that love Bernie Sanders fucking hate the people that would love Gavin Newsom. But you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the problem is there's always somebody in the Democratic Party that is disappointed, right? And there's no way to have the whole coalition not be disappointed because they're black, they're brown, they're native, they're gay, they're trans, they're straight, they're they're middle American, they're rural, they're city, they're Muslim, they're Christian. You know what I'm saying? So like the problem is there's never going to be a time where every voter in the Democratic Party is getting all their important issues represented. So what we really do need to do with the left, center, and all that is we have to pick one or two issues that we're all willing to fucking go in on. And then we have to accept the fact that some of our other shit ain't going to be the shit. And that's the type of unity that we need to find. Because the reality is like this is one of the big struggles that we have. And it's hard. Dude, let's go. We got a dance party. Because what's hard is like, I don't know, man. I feel like we need to heal the wounds of 2016 because Bernie came along and he ignited the youth movement. Okay. But then the youth movement got really disappointed that Bernie didn't win. And then some of the youth movement said, wow, the Democrats like cheated. And then after that started, Donald Trump, when he lost, said the Democrats cheated. And so now there's like animosity where like the Bernie people don't like the Democratic Party and the socialists don't like the Democratic Party and the Democratic Party don't like the Bernie people and they don't like the socialists. And like, right? And now we're like, fuck, bro. How do we bring everybody together and heal the wounds of 2016 and heal the wounds of like, okay, so Hakeem Jeffries isn't going to endorse Zoran Mamdani, but like, am I still going to work with Hakeem Jeffries to beat JD Vance? Or am I going to be so mad that he didn't endorse Zoran Mamdani? No, I'm going to get that like he's worried if he endorses Zoran Mamdani, he won't be able to win elections anymore because then he will have outed himself as a socialist. And he can't. He's a non-socialist Democrat, right? And so like we have to process this fucking, that like, certain people aren't going to do things in order to get elected. Like, for example, here's a classic example. There's a Democrat in Washington named 𝗫𝗫𝗀𝗫𝗀. Okay, you ready? Look at this. Okay, this woman right here. You may have seen her. Okay, 𝗫𝗫𝗀𝗫𝗀. She represents Vancouver, Washington, which is across the river from Portland. But she represents mostly red. Most of her district is red, but then there's a huge Democrat population in Vancouver that votes for her. So she's a Democrat, but she's actually kind of a Republican. Kind of, right? She'll get on board with most of the Democratic legislation, but occasionally she'll be a Joe Manchin because she has to. So she'll either be a Joe Manchin and vote no on something, or she just won't vote. She won't vote at all, so she doesn't like destroy her coalition. And if they don't need her, she'll sit out on the votes in order to hold her seat. But she's still a Democrat, but she's representing kind of a red district. And this is hard, right? Because Marie Gliouzinkamp-Perez, like Zoran Mondani, could not win her fucking district, okay? A far lefty could not win her fucking district, but she can prevent a Republican from having that district. And so that's what's hard. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's what's really fucking hard. And you'll say that there's a reason they're losing popularity. Well, yeah, there is a reason that they're losing popularity. But it's like, it's complicated why the Democrats are losing popularity. I mean, part of the reason they're losing popularity is because Donald Trump kept winning against them, and people are so frustrated that the Democrats couldn't beat Donald Trump, and they're like, fuck, bro. They hate the Democratic Party because they lost twice to Donald Trump, okay? And also, though, because they're fucking, they haven't solved, right? They were in power during the fucking pandemic. So all the pain we felt during the pandemic reflected on the Democratic Party, even though they kind of saved us as well, right? And some of it is like a generational shift. Like everybody got real hype behind Obama, and then we didn't get enough change, so people were mad. And so, I mean, I think it's very complicated. And you ready for this, guys? There's an ecosystem now where there's a huge number of anti-Democrat leftist content creators that are also sort of poisoning the image of the Democratic Party too. And the Democratic Party is refusing to work with them, which is poisoning their image themselves. So there is some fighting of the left and the Democrats and the center left and all that. You know what I mean? So like it's hard because they want to stay elected, but then there's a whole ecosphere of people that are saying they're really shitty, and yeah, dude, then people like Kyrsten Sinema and certainly fucking Fetterman, right? Yeah, it's like a lot of it is hard. 10 years ago, there weren't people like Hassan and TYT that were spending all day like being like these Democrats kind of suck, and I'm not blaming shit on Hassan because I realize he's passionately pursuing his shit. But like, there's a lot of voices of dissent in the Democratic Party, and the Republicans don't have that. Okay. They don't. If you dissent, like if there's somebody in the Republican Party like Hassan Piker that is just raging against the machine, that person, they'll be excommunicated. They would be forced into line or they would get booted. And the Democrats aren't like that. We don't do that. We don't like, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, man, we do have to figure out a little bit of coalition building, because it's complicated for us because we have a lot of diversity, right? And the right can get away with hive mentality, though, because they're mostly white Christians. Or at the very least, in the right wing, you don't have to be a white Christian, but you have to fucking acquiesce to white Christian power to be in the right wing. And in the Democratic thing, you don't, there's like many different fucking things. Now, it would be nice if we could like sort of sever the AIPAC sort of thing. I feel like that would be good. I think the thing the Democrats should do is we should get super PACs out of primaries. That I think would be important. If we can get the Democratic Party to like, we'll use super PACs in the general election to fight the Republicans, but no super PAC money in our primaries, so the people get to choose the candidate and the platform that's not being polluted by like 10 million AIPAC dollars. I think that is the one thing we can all do in the Democratic Party to fucking keep it of the people. And so I think that needs to be our primary focus. Get the big money out of the primaries. So like Kat Abu can win and not get crushed by a fucking crypto funded, AIPAC funded, fucking healthcare industry funded primary opponent. Okay, no super PACs in primaries. We need them in the general election. We do. In the general election, we need them. And Citizens United, yeah, but that's going to be 30 years before we can get rid of Citizens United. We need to fucking change the Supreme Court. We need to do a bunch of shit now, right? But I think we can pressure the Democratic Party to get the super PACs out of primaries, okay? And the other thing, I think, you ready? Don't get mad at me for saying this, but if the next Democratic president is somebody who's willing to take power and use it, now that Trump has expanded the power of the presidency and made the presidency way more powerful, we could have a left-wing president get in there and fucking reshape the Supreme Court and just fuck the fucking, what the Republicans say, fuck you, I'm going to do my shit and eat a dick. I'm going to expand this shit while the presidential power is greatly expanded. If you get a president in there who's willing to use power that way and piss a bunch of people off, we could take what Trump did and do something really good with it. And now I'm going to go out on the limb and say that I could see somebody like Gavin Newsom doing that. Okay, Gavin Newsom is somebody who would be willing to use power so over the top like that. Maybe J.B. Pritzker would also do it. I mean, we do have to have somebody who's willing to be a bit of a sociopath. Okay, like Tim Walz would not do that. Okay, Tim Walz would like nice guy it. No, we kind of need a left-wing sociopath. I hate to say it, dude. I mean, I just, I know it sounds risky, but I am one of those people that like I would abuse power for the greater good. If I was a president, I could fucking take power and slam it like that. I'm not worried about being a nice guy. You know what I mean? And so we do maybe need to elect somebody like that that's willing to fucking slam that shit. I mean, I think, call me crazy, but I think, like power slamming. And dude, I don't think I'm getting to anything else, dude. Tonight, we're going to have to fucking, I didn't get to fucking Cenk watch or any of that shit. Dude, I didn't even get the Epstein update, bro. I'm already out of time, bro. We ate it all up with this. Dude, Walz has no balls. I know. I think just Tim Walz, I just think he's just a genuinely agreeable guy. You know what I mean? Term limits on Supreme Court would be great. I think Supreme Court should be 12 years. Okay? They should be two Senate terms, right? 12 right now you have the House is 2 years, President is 4, which is 2 House terms, Senate is 6, 3 House terms, have Supreme Court be 2 Senate terms or 3 presidential terms. I think that would be great. And I also think it should be expanded. I think the Supreme Court should have more seats. It should be, and maybe the Supreme Court should have an even number of seats, right? Right? Like have the Supreme Court be 10 seats, right? Or 15 or 14 seats, not an odd number. Right? That makes it a little bit interesting too, where you could have a deadlock Supreme Court that would kick shit back to the lower courts. Right? And so maybe that could be interesting, not having having a fucking even number of justices. Right? Pack that shit. Pack it. Dude, Shanky. Oh, Shanky. Oh. Dude. Right? Pack that shit. But yeah, man. So I don't know, dude. I think politics is complicated. Okay, this shit is complicated. But one thing I will say is that like this right here, when she says she has zero financial ties to 1630, she has zero financial ties to 1630, but the guy who funds her program is also funding 1630. So there you go, right? Like Taylor Lorenz is railing against 1630, but the guy who funds her shit and pays her $8,000 a month is also funding 1630, who is funding like Chorus. So they're both being funded by the same people. Like, goddamn, bro. But you notice though how Ken Klippenstein is trying to create this drama? Dude, I wonder about Ken Klippenstein, because a lot of times Ken Klippenstein is fucking, is creating like an environment that helps the Republicans. And I have a problem with that. Like, why are you a leftist, Ken Klippenstein, who's constantly making it so the Republicans have an easier time of things? That should not be the way the leftists are working. You know what I'm saying? He was not accurate with his claim. He was accurate with his claim, right? His claim was that one of the funders of 1630 is funding the program that's paying Taylor. And that was dead on. That's exactly what Brian said. Okay, Brian says it right here.
Monthly stipend is 8,000.
You ready?
Powerful liberal dark money group.
Watch this.
Lorenz says that the 1630 fund is, quote, a powerful liberal dark money group. 1630 fund is our fiscal sponsor. One of the largest documented donors to 1630 fund is the same person funding Meteor's Reporters in Residence program, which Taylor Lorenz herself is a part of. And guess what her monthly stipend is? $8,000 per month.
He was exactly accurate. One of the largest funders of 1630 is Pierre Omidyar. Okay, and he funds Omidyar Network, which pays Taylor, and he's also one of the biggest funders of 1630. So Pierre is funding 1630 and the group that's paying Taylor Lorenz. So Brian was right on. Okay, that doesn't mean Taylor's being funded by 1630, but the person who's paying Taylor is funding 1630. It's not misleading at all. It's not. Why are you saying it's misleading? It's not misleading at all. No, the person, one of the biggest funders of 1630 is paying Taylor Lorenz, period. That's facts. Okay, Pierre Omidyar is one of the biggest funders of 1630, and he is also the person paying Taylor Lorenz. So she's being paid by one of the funders of 1630, right? That is not misleading. That is straight up. It is factual. I think for her to say she has zero financial ties to 1630 is misleading, because she is getting paid $8,000 a month from one of the biggest funders of 1630. So, dude, she's getting paid by the guy who's fucking funding 1630, bro. Like, come on, man. I mean, I love Taylor, but like, she's wrong here, okay? Because she is being funded by, she is getting $8,000 a month from one of the biggest funders of 1630. So, like, I mean, there's no way around that, bro. Like, come on, man. That's a factual link up. But now it's dance party. But I will say this, though. I love Taylor and I love Brian Tyler Cohen, but like, we need to stop fighting each other, God damn it. Okay? Because God damn it, Taylor, we need to fucking beat the Republicans. And I mean, if you're making money from Pierre Omidyar and Omidyar's funding 1630 that's paying for Chorus, like, we're on the same goddamn team, you know? And you and Kenny Clip need to stop just shooting the Democrats in the foot. We need to start shooting the Republicans in the feet, okay? And fucking helping each other, all right? And now I'm going to go make some goddamn videos about this shit. All right? All right, you ready? Let's get ready. We're going to have a fucking dance party, motherfuckers. Hold on. Let's go. And I don't know, maybe I'm going to be the guy that's going to bring all these motherfuckers together with some curse words and some dancing. All right, maybe that's my role. Dude, I'm going to bring all the motherfuckers together. Dude, my friend Rust, okay, he was in the band Crazy Town. This guy that was a good friend of mine in LA, he had a band called Rust and the Superheroes, and he ended up being in the band Crazy Town, right? Come, my lady, come, my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby, right? And he was like touring all over the country, eventually all over the world. And then he got kicked out of fucking, like Shifty Shell Shock kicked him out. And eventually Russ died of a heart attack. The day my CD came out in 2004. So Rust is no longer with us. But he had a song that was a great song that was called They're All Motherfuckers. And it's so true, man. That like when you get in there, right? You get in there in the big up at the top of wherever, whether it's, the DSA or the Democratic Party or MAGA or the board of directors at the corporation or the studio heads. When you get into those power rooms, they're all motherfuckers. Man, it's true. Dude, it's just so true. That's what I couldn't help but think of, dude. They're all motherfuckers. It's so true, man. But maybe I'll be able to bring the two sides together. All right? And we'll see. I'm going to try because, goddamn it, we do need to come together or we are not going to be able to fucking take the house back. And I'm telling you right now, if we don't take the house back in 2026, like we're done. We are done for, guys. If we don't take the house in 2026 and thwart Donald Trump for the remainder of his term, like we are so fucked. And come 2028, dude, like whoever wins the primary, I don't care if it's Gavin Newsom or fucking a head of lettuce. I'm going to be all in. I am not going to fucking badmouth the Democratic candidate after the primary in the 2028 election. And if anybody comes in here trying to bring them down or like they're not doing this, I'm going to fucking give you a boot right in the ass. Because I'm tired of fucking losing. I don't want a Bible shoved up my ass. And yes, I will fucking coalesce with fucking Hakeem Jeffries and Sam Cedar and Taylor Lorenz and Brian Tyler Cohen. Okay, I'm fucking bring everybody together because they're all motherfuckers and I'm a motherfucker. And now we're going to dance. All right. And that's just that. All right, here we go. Let's get it. Let's go.
Slowly, this feeling that I have.
Let's go. Let's get some music playing. Oh, let's go. Cardio bonding. I love it. Edit mode. Yeah, I'm going to go make some videos. Dude, I'm fucking tired, bro. I got myself a New York steak, though. I'm going to go cook. In too deep. Light another cigarette, make up for it well. I am one of those you'll never trust, so drink me. I'll see you guys tomorrow, all right? Keep it real, baby. Fucking love you guys. I know we didn't get a lot done tonight, but I feel like we really had to talk about this. We are gonna fucking come together. We're gonna win the house, dude, 2026. All right? And I will see you guys tomorrow. All right? Keep it real. Fucking coalition, baby. Coalition. Good night.
Always get me into these situations again, because I might be tempted. Always get me into these situations again, because I might be tempted. I'm in love.